defense, but
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'd rather have a spike where you can spike it onto the ground instead of up in the air. Because when you spike it in the air with defense, it sucks. Fuck you, you dickhead.
2-0.
wow.
Come on. Now we're on a losing streak.
Well, it's just the other guy that's doing defense is running way up to the front.
Yeah.
And then they're all piling on me, so I'm by myself.
Right.
See, he's defense and he's piling way up to the front.
Yeah, they're all coming right up.
Hey, Enyo, by the way, apologies for trying to dial you up before. I had not figured out yet that I needed to assign myself to a specific guild before I could actually access the sub-channels here. But I figured it out eventually.
Oh, okay. Perfect then.
thank
It's
you
out. And no problem.
Yeah, you gotta watch this Greg Evans guy. He's like running right up to the net. Quite literally. He's bypassing everybody running right into the net. So I gotta watch him.
That's what I was doing. Like I said, when I was sure we would win the ball bounce, you know, that's the first thing I would do is just go straight for the net.
And it's over.
Well, yeah, I was like, where the fuck did the ball go?
Are you playing against randoms or other alliance members?
Randoms. I think we got another troll in here too.
Well, you know, if you lose,
he's just playing by playing. That's all.
Well, if you lose the match, there's only one answer. Of course, they cheated.
Duh.
Come on. It's over. Come on. That was so good too. I think the Portuguese guy's cotton on though. If we all head to the front, then man, look how high that one went.
Yeah, that was a massive deflection.
Oh no 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 no! Come on! For the save. That was nice. That was smooth.
I saw it. I made sure it was going.
You never score against Dragon Boy. See, these are like low-level alts. I guarantee you they're here to troll. Can tell by their conversation. Is this what Summerfest is becoming?
Duh.
Sounds delightful.
Oh.
Oh.
Seriously, I thought that was it.
Man, I thought it was in too. Honestly, like.
From this distance, it looked like it was it.
Okay, so
I thought.
Sorry,
I thought it was going in myself. Go ahead.
No, so I haven't played it this summer yet, but recalled in past events. That game has like some of the worst physics I've seen in modern.
Oh yeah, but it's still fun.
Look, it's really stupid.
It's like really stupid physics, but
why did it go over?
We get the perfect lined up, then it goes over every fucking time.
Well, I bet you if we had some of the other skills, it wouldn't be like that.
That's true. I really should have unlocked them in past years, but like, it just feels like such a waste, so I never do. But you know what?
Wait, do you have to unlock them every year?
No, once you unlock them for good, but...
Yeah.
Oh, I got that one right on.
That was nice. Oh, jeez. Still in,
but
though.
You didn't get to it in time.
I think it's going to be out. Yeah, it's out. Still 2-0. Come on, come on, come on. Forward.
That one is in, isn't it? Nope.
Okay.
No.
Oh no, is it going?
It's still in play.
It's still in play. Okay.
No, it's still in play.
Come on. Hit the post. Man. This, like, reminds me of when I'm watching the World Cup. And it, like, goes off the post. It goes over. It goes offside. It goes to in the corner kicks.
Everywhere where it might be where you want it to go.
Exactly. Then again, Mexico just seems to have crappy control over the ball.
Nice, perfect.
There we
Perfect,
go.
perfect.
Who was saying no one scores on Dragon Boy again? Apparently we just did. I'm oddly competitive about this, and I'm never competitive in this game.
I've noticed, and I actually think it's kind of not meant to be condescending. I actually find it kind of cute.
Yes.
And now we're 2 for 2. We tied.
Finish them. There can only be one.
Yeah, just choke on those words.
Let's
That's,
yeah, let's not screw this up. There we go. There we go. Another forward.
Beautiful, and you have a nice one. Yes.
Well, now these guys are giving up. I've got 3 guys standing here by the goal.
They're
They're not even trying anymore.
Good.
Oh my god.
I got the 3 guys stood up and they just crowd around and stand there.
Bring it
They're
home.
not even trying anymore.
Bring the gold home.
Is this gonna be another one? Maybe not. No,
No.
off to the side. Out of bounds. But you know what? We went from losing for like the first 8 minutes to somehow pulling through for the win in like the last 2 minutes.
Nicely done.
And
Yes.
live streamed.
Yes,
did?
and live stream.
Ah.
This is like the dumbest thing to live stream, but
I mean,
Cares.
you could totally play it off like, well, who's trolling whom?
oh no. Okay.
Yeah,
Got it.
good.
I got it. I got it.
Good. Let's finish it. Oh no.
No, we're good.
No, it's not. I made
Okay.
sure it was out of bounds.
Good.
I'm making sure. I
This-
kicked it out of bounds to make sure.
This literally is it's so dumb. When I was doing this earlier, I was just like, why would anybody do this? Okay, well now I know. Because
Yeah.
it's dumb.
Yeah, once you get
It's
into
dumb and there's something better to do.
yeah, if both teams actually play, it can be somewhat entertaining. But my God, it's not.
Oh no.
Oh,
No.
I tried. I missed. I tried to get it up. It was just offside.
Well, like as you said, when you earlier were saying you were sure that ball went in. Some of the stuff you could swear like that is over the line, that's outside, but no, it's still in play or it didn't get in or whatever. It's upside down.
Oh, it's going back towards our net.
What the hell? No.
But it's a draw. I'm surprised they don't have like some kind of like overtime or like, I don't know, penalty kicks. I don't know. Maybe I watch too much soccer.
Clearly, you watch
they
too
had
much
to.
soccer.
Oh come on, really? You know how many of these small fucking fireworks I've got?
Yeah, lots.
Oh yeah. I've
You're gonna
gotten
have stacks before the event is over, man.
Oh yeah.
What? That's the thing. So I'm looking at some of my alts, and they have already have 17 of the Sune coin that you can buy the new companion with, right? It's 21. But of course, in my main, I only have that's great. That's gonna be lots of fun. Oh well.
I think we've confused some people in the stream.
Oh yeah.
Enyo sounds so masculine today.
Hey, and so are you really a man? Like you thought I was a woman?
You know what? I just presume everyone is like a man if they have like a man sounding name, and if they have a girl sounding name, maybe they're a girl. But you know what? You can never tell.
It's
Hey,
true.
you get. I
It's
built
fair.
my character is built actually off of because I couldn't think of a character. I went back to the old school Baldur's Gate and ripped off the name.
Well,
So if you go to the old school Baldur's Gate, that name is in there.
at least you
'Cause I
went for
couldn't think
quality
of
material.
So my real world last name is Welsh, and the Welsh language is super weird. So I like making all of my characters out of actual Welsh names. So my tiefling, Cithral, actually means devil in Welsh.
Okay, smart. Pretty
I mean, I
much. Yeah.
I don't generally use the my native language. I don't normally use that for names in this game. Interesting one.
Welsh is definitely not my native language.
Fair enough.
I mean, have you seen the weird
Yes.
look? My account name, right, is Guarachowderdu, which means a black paladin or blackguard or scoundrel, right? And look at how it's spelled. Just right click me and you can see. It's like
Remember
they just pour Scrabble tiles into a bag and
Yeah.
throw them out, and that's a word.
That is an excellent description. I mean, right now I'm in combat, so I can't remember your name, but I've seen some of their signs. Like when I was studying in Scotland, sometimes you'd see in the local news they talk about something happening in Wales. Some of these road signs are like, my goodness, you get lost just reading the damn sign unless you're fluent in it. I suppose. Like, what the hell is that? Speak a Germanic language, which will look weird to to non-Germanic speakers, but that thing is on a whole another level. Kind of like Finnish.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
like Finnish. Yeah.
We got
Wow.
a guy in the guild in my flag. He wants to try to do the soccer thing. Oh, we got 2 of them.
Oh yeah, we do. We can have a full guild run now. And I think we got Hyan
Alright.
back.
Hang on, I'm taking us out of the queue.
Okay. Got Hyan. Oh, we got Harry Pothead. That's what his character name is. That's his
That
main
reminds me-
character.
Okay, so this is really silly, but sometimes silly can be excellent humor. So, Winterfest.
Oh, guys, Sithrall isn't in the guild. That's why he didn't see them.
Yeah, I'm in the alliance, but not the guild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you pass
That's why I said-
Q lead, and I'll invite them. We got
Absolutely.
2 people from Chronic Legion that want to join.
Go
So.
for it. You should be lead now.
All right.
We're speaking like Harry Pothead, right? So the Yeti, the mountain companion. I know it's silly, it's stupid, but someone called theirs Harry Potter, and I'm just like, yeah, I found that funny.
There's nothing wrong with that. You guys all love my abyssal chicken, Bitey McNugget. I mean,
Mighty McNugget.
Bitey McNugget.
Man, I called mine Hipster. Just I don't know, it just seemed right. It just felt right.
That's
Nasty looking creature.
When I get mine, I'm calling mine sweet and sour.
my dog is Sir Barks a lot.
Okay, so a guy I used to be in a guild with, and I still chat with. You guys remember the Cholton Tiger, right? When it was BIS.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it had a tendency to jump all over the place, certainly early on before they tweaked it. So he'd named his "I like to jump off cliffs," and it's just, and he would get killed constantly, and he would lose his his bonding buff.
Oh, shit.
All right.
You're just,
So
Oh.
I don't care if I'm in a defensive position. I'm playing offense. Oh, I had that. It was going straight
one
in.
thing, Helia's gonna probably. I'll stick as a backup offense. It looks like she's stepping back to the defense mode. So
Oh, nice one, Enyo.
Perfect. I don't know if I'm gonna get to the ball in time though.
Yeah, I wasn't sure.
Ball out of bounds. It would be nice if instead of like it constantly going out of bounds, if they just had like a solid wall there so that it would just reflect back into the field, right?
so like kind of like a racquetball
Absolutely.
court.
Oh,
Oh shit, that one went backwards.
Hyan.
And how dare you come with quality of life improvements that actually benefit the player base?
yeah, exactly. I mean, what are you thinking?
I know. Shame on me. Shame on me.
Yes, shame. Go stand in a corner.
I remember the Lyra's Night event. There was like a little bug thing where it's supposed to be that you donate 5 fireworks and get a reward, but instead
still works.
it was like 1 firework. So
Yeah, it still
everyone
works,
was
but-
really confused. So I went to Julia and I'm like, I don't know what's happening, but like this is what's happening. And because everyone's asking in zone chat, so I told zone chat, oh, I just talked to Julia, and everyone's like, what's wrong with you? Why would you do that?
Yeah.
'Cause they
I mean,
didn't-
I don't know if there's.
Mhm.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I thought you were done. Please continue.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, because they didn't want the bug to be fixed.
Yeah. No, I mean, and I have to say, I didn't want the bug fixed either because, I mean, if they had fixed it, I just wouldn't have gotten like all the mount and some other stuff.
It's over.
Over.
But the grind fireworks is just ridiculous if you're gonna do it the intended way.
Yeah, for sure. But doing it the
So-
intended way was, like, impossible, so I get it. But I think it was kind of bugged.
Yeah.
Something in
It
the
wa-
code
yeah,
just wasn't matching
it was
up.
bugged, and I mean, it was glorious. I mean, I guess you could some would say abused. I'm like, yeah, you know, I normally don't. I mean, if it's something.
Oh no!
He didn't get it.
So it's not quite going the way you might want. I take it.
Pass it forward. No.
I got there too early, and I was the first one to kick it.
Oh, and by the way, just for this,
Oh.
and
Yep.
you don't sound masculine. You don't.
No, I don't, but some people think I do. Sometimes, actually, quite
have-
often I get comments on my YouTube videos like, are you a 13-year-old boy? It's like, really? You can't tell the difference?
Wow. I mean, okay, so this is gonna sound a bit terrible. I can sort of see why someone who's not very familiar with the difference between.
That's going in.
Yeah.
And,
Nice job,
I think-
Enyo.
but you don't. But you don't. No, you're not. You're not a 13-year-old boy. Well, I presume you're not. I don't
I'm
actually know for
definitely not. I could confirm that, but I'd rather not.
certain. Yeah. Well, you can hear the difference. Like your tone of voice, words. That's not some prepubescent boy.
No, but some people just, they can't tell the difference. I don't know, maybe they're deaf. I'm actually
used
gonna
to
try and
dealing
keep
with-
this in.
Yes.
Well,
it's
it's still in.
going
No, it's
too
out.
far. Oh, it's still in, actually.
It's still in?
Now it's
No,
out.
it wasn't.
I thought it was still in there for a second.
Do not know how I didn't hit the last one. It's okay, Hyan. He's not in voice chat, though, so he can't hear us.
That's a shame.
Probably our silence is making him stress out.
It's like,
Okay,
oh,
going
hey,
towards
me.
the net, going towards the net, and they hit it to the side. I'm almost
Yeah.
wondering if it would be a good strategy, like when the ball comes, to have someone coming in from the left and someone coming in for the right. So even if they do try to hit it to the side, we can hit it back in.
That would be good, but if it goes backwards and we're all going forward to attack, we're gonna be in bad shape.
That's true, but if we have 2 people on defense anyways and 3 of us are going offense, shouldn't make too much of a difference. Over.
Oh. Well, I'm gonna stick back since you guys you're having a problem in the defense part. I'll stick back a little bit. Try to keep it from coming too far into our territory again.
Yeah. Play. Perfect.
Oh, nice one. I got there way late.
And deflected it out. If you can push it back in, I'll stay here. I don't have a good lead on this, so I don't think it's gonna work.
Oh no, I got to it late, and I think I might
Come
have
on,
kicked
come
it
on.
in.
Kick it.
Damn it.
Ah, 2 to the side.
Still in
Ouch.
play?
It was still in
No.
play. It was like an accidental corner kick.
No, we almost had it right in front because nobody could get to it. Which one are we in for Discord?
Great question. I don't know.
Dungeon Divers 4.
Should be more
Dungeon
like
Divers 4.
Sahha ball 4. Over.
Copy that, Ghost Rider.
Yeah, when people talk about that Marvel's never made a bad movie, that's usually what I do is point out Ghost Rider.
Oh, I watched that in the movie theater when it came back then, and I was excited to see it because, I mean, I wasn't a huge follower of Ghost Rider, but I did have a few of the comic books and found it. an
The
interesting
guy,
premise.
the Ghost Rider on the TV series was much better than that Nicolas Cage abomination.
That was a bit disappointing. I mean, there were parts that looked cool, but nah, it wasn't a good movie. It wasn't.
The biggest disappointment was the second one where they showed the killing of the boss in the trailer.
Did they really? Because I know they made
Oh,
a
yeah.
second one, but I didn't watch it. So
Yeah,
Did
no,
they
they
really
they
actually give away things. Nice.
Hey.
Well, I
Took
mean,
the
I guess
lead.
they could save if you knew that in advance. You know, it saved you what, $16 and 2 hours of your life.
yeah. Yeah, I want those 2 hours of my life back too.
Not too long ago, I had someone commenting on all my videos. I want 2 minutes of my life back. I want 3 minutes of my life back. I want 4 minutes. It's like, if you want all your minutes back, stop watching my videos. You'll stop
Don't you just
losing
feel so
minutes.
appreciated?
Ah, rebound.
I overran it.
Someone can hit it this way. I don't know. I think, yeah, to the side. To the side.
I mean, okay, fair enough. Some people do use, clickbait and presentation could be different, but a lot of it's just also a matter of taste.
Yeah,
Don't
for
let 'em
sure.
get to you. You do you. And if
Oh, I
someone
know.
doesn't like it, too bad.
I just like to have fun. I'm not very professional that way, but it's cool.
Wait, did you say fun?
Yeah.
What strange foreign word is this? This is not Russia. We don't do communist talk like that, all right? So
That it? Nope. Mhm.
You know what I found the greatest when you're super hot? One of the greatest like cool off desserts is you just take a can of peaches and throw it in the freezer.
Peaches?
Yeah, just peaches. You throw it in the freezer.
I've
It
never.
becomes
not-
like a little homemade Slurpee. Oh, Enyo, nice.
okay, so
Oh yeah.
for a moment there, I wasn't sure if you were, if you were speaking in euphemisms and metaphors, alluding to something else, and just being facetious. And I'm like, oh, it's just my mind that took a wrong turn. So
Off to the side, but it's still in, so now it's out.
Hey, and have you noticed that you don't want to click the button twice because if you click the button twice, it'll make you jump twice?
Yeah, I know. 'Cause I noticed that a couple times when I was double hitting stuff.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
makes
you
you jump twice.
Yeah, just hit the
Hit
thing
it
once.
once.
Yeah, normally I just jump and I click, and that's it. And out of bounds. Interesting.
All right, we win. Yay.
Oh yeah, there's only 1 second left. Sweet. There we go. Makes a difference having like a preset group, eh?
It really does.
Enyo, are you Canadian?
Fireworks. Huzzah!
Wait,
Oh.
am I getting what?
No, are you Canadian?
Oh, I thought you said okay.
No,
I thought you
I think I
asked
said.
I thought you asked if I'm
Wait,
getting
wait.
naked. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Well, hey, I'm not much, all right? So, but no.
Yeah, I'm Canadian.
Okay, no, I thought, I mean, don't take it the wrong way, but you do have a North American and whatnot. So I know there's a difference between America or the U.S. and Canada. But I thought you were from, actually you were from the U.S. until I just heard that A part.
Yeah. Well, technically, like, I was born in Mexico and raised in Mexico for a good portion of my life. So I didn't start speaking English till I was actually older. But my mom is actually English, like from England kind of deal. So I picked up some English.
So you're just really screwed up then.
I'm just a mix of all different things. My dad.
Wow.
Okay, so my one
Wow.
grandpa is from Spain. My grandpa is from Spain. My grandma is Mexican with a lot of Mayan background. My mom, on my mom's side, my grandpa is Irish, and then my grandma is very, very, very English.
Wait,
So
she
you're
married,
the Heinz 57 baby.
wait a minute. So your English grandmother married an Irishman?
Yeah, she did.
Oh, that
Fun
would have been
fact.
controversial back then.
Oh, it would have been very controversial. He's 89 this year, so you go back
Oh,
to
wow.
back
Well done.
then, it definitely would have been quite scandalous, you could say.
Yeah.
But they made it work. They ended up moving to Canada. Forget at what point, but at one point they ended up like packing up and going to Canada. I guess just easier. I don't know how readily accepted it is to live in the UK and have like, at least back then, an English person with an Irish person. But I know there was like a big rivalry, I guess, something with the Cas-
The Troubles.
the Catholic.
Northern Ireland.
I don't know. I don't know
Yeah,
the
yeah.
history.
No, but yeah, because you have the Catholics and you have the Protestants.
Yeah.
The men of all, there's still issues today. It's better than it has been for generations, but it's not all sunshine and rainbows from what I gather.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm here too. Hi.
Hey.
Hello.
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 Greetings and salutations.
That was a nice self goal, by the way.
Oh gosh, that was horrible. That was like the worst possible way to start. My problem is I can't see the ball half the time. I'm like, okay, I know it went over my head. Where did it go?
That's why as soon as the ball goes up in the air, you can up because that's the only way to find it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And the ball goes whatever direction your tune is facing. So
of course. So, oh my
Oh,
gosh.
great. I'm on a defense
Okay.
position.
Well,
I'll
I'm in
trade
a
with you,
defense
yeah.
mode too,
But
so.
I'm going.
well, just run forward.
Yeah.
That's what I was doing last game. I think we got it.
Oh, that was a good save by them.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Jeez, I thought for sure we had that.
Clearly,
was-
they're cheating. If you're
It
not,
was right on the goal line.
I know.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter. It's got to hit the back of the net.
But they were
What?
really slow coming to the front, so I think this might be an easier game.
No, I don't know. They all came forward that time.
Oh, I got
Oh.
knocked over. Someone's got his stuff unlocked.
Inyo, how did you end up playing with your old friend that first?
My old friend?
What
Yeah,
around?
for the old.
Oh, in the
Guild
first
leader.
game, the
Yeah.
X.
Yeah, I just noticed the
Ex-officer.
Dragonborn guy. Yeah, he's the one with that tackle thing. So you got to avoid him.
Yeah, I
Oh,
see
great.
that.
you gotta drag him out to the side, beat him down. Yeah. Well, I guess you can't do that. Shit.
And it went to the side anyway. It's not out though. But yeah, I guess like because the groups are just put together at random. Oh, knocked back.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was
So-
such a really coincidence.
Yeah, and it was really annoying too. Like I kind of wish I had it on Livestream, cause she kept coming at me with the tackle. And it's like, really?
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like you could report that, but
Wait a minute. So they allow players to have game altering or in-match altering advantages that you can't just get easily.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's pretty lame.
yeah.
I mean, I get they need to make money. It's a business and all that, but make it cosmetic or something that doesn't have a massive advantage.
Yeah, it's kind of weird for a free-to-play game.
Yeah, I mean, like if you farm it enough, like it's not.
look, I'd play this for a week straight with you guys. It's that simple.
You know, listening to you guys, I might actually, if there's room at some point, not this morning or tonight, but another time, I might actually join. I normally stay clear, but you make it sound fun.
We're having
Because
fun.
it is.
Oh, no.
It's like lagging
That was
on
a
my
weird
end.
fucking.
Yeah.
It was like freeze,
in the
freeze,
air there.
freeze.
It's like, they could have come down or what?
That was like the longest round, I think.
I know we actually kept it in for like back and forth.
Oh yeah, we did. On one of the games earlier, it kept going back and forth and not going out of bounds. Right over my head. Perfect. Kick it out. Or hit it out.
Nice.
Ball out of bounds. Almost half time and not a single score done. Is it bad that I keep using soccer terms?
Nope.
Well,
No,
this is-
I wouldn't know anyways.
This is
Part of me-
retard. This is
Pardon me?
retard soccer.
part of me wants to say it's not soccer, but soccer is an official term for it, so it's actually. I just, growing up in Europe, well, Europe and Africa,
Football.
they would say football. Yeah, football.
If they called it football, we'd have a riot.
The only reason I'm not arguing the point is that because I looked it up at one point, and apparently soccer is the more historically correct term. But in terms of actually kicking the ball, football
Yeah.
for soccer makes more sense than it does for what I would call American football.
Right. True.
Very much so.
Ah, so close.
That was so close.
Harry, I keep getting knocked down.
I noticed you got a little stalker over here.
Stop
The
it.
guy who's criticizing her videos, or
No, there's a stalker. The guy he's just running through and standing by the goal.
Yeah, almost all the teams usually have one guy that does that. They just go straight for the goal.
Cool.
there used to be some sort of trick. I don't remember it, where you could sort
knockback.
of block the goal. I don't know. I don't know if they did it though.
Have you noticed if your character will kick the ball if you're close to it without you pushing a button?
I
No,
don't think
No,
so,
I don't think so.
but I don't know.
I know if you jump you can hit the ball, but that's just not a dumb luck.
Nice defense right there.
Not fully out though. Now it is.
There we go.
Sweet. One
Holy
thing
shit,
I've
we're
learned.
still 0-0 and we're just under half.
It's
Yeah.
0-0. Yeah, after 6 or 5.5 minutes of play, that's very soccer.
Oh yeah.
We should
Nice.
get the gold tickets for that.
Too many people are going after it though.
Okay, so have any of you at any point actually gotten one of the legendary mount prices from the Mithril tickets? Because I know some people do, but I've never had that kind of summer.
I haven't even seen a Mithril ticket in the 6 or 7 games I've played tonight, and I hear there's a bug. I've managed to acquire 3 copper tickets.
Oh,
Hey, I've got
oh,
3
we did.
too.
That's terrible. I mean, because it's the same as with Winterfest. At some point, and you
Oh,
open enough tickets and
no.
whatnot, you get
Oh,
better
no.
prices, but that's terrible.
I didn't hit that, did I? Like, I hope I don't.
You gotta watch
No, you're
that one
fine.
guy coming in that's right by the goal. You gotta get in his face, or he'll just take the ball away from you.
Sweet. If we can just get that in. Oh no, it's over.
Oh no.
Like, come on.
Did you win? Did you win?
Legendary night.
No, we're losing right now 1-0.
What?
Yeah, because you got this, whatever this. Well, I can't even pronounce that fucking name.
You know what? It's okay. I get it. I got you guys figured out. You're just being kind. You don't want them to feel completely. I get it. It's it's charity. It's fine.
Sweet, 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 sweet. It's almost an open ball, but no.
I need one of those knock them down type.
Come on. I don't think I'm gonna make it in time.
I'm letting you have an Ennio.
Deflected.
Oh,
Ball out of bounds. We still got 2.5 minutes though. It's not the end of the world. We got this.
hey, we're bound to lose it at some point.
Yeah, that's true.
I just
I
got
didn't
knocked
even.
down by douchebag.
I didn't
But
even
you're
realize.
always winners in spirit.
Don't ever say things like that, please, ever.
I was just waiting for like hallmark moment. Yes.
Thank
That was
you.
a nice save.
Yeah,
That wasn't-
all-
That was a nice save.
I wasn't even paying attention. I like opened the YouTube just to see like the comments and whatnot, because people always comment and I always forget to look. And then I came back and like the ball's like already in the air, and I got knocked over.
I think he knocked us both over.
Ha.
Oh, let me tell
Shiro
you-
Dragonborn.
That's why you've been barreling around.
As soon as I get that stupid shoulder charge thing, oh yeah, it's on. I'm gonna knock everybody down. I'm gonna hit that thing as many times as I can hit it.
Ha.
You know, for the fact that they have that, they're really not doing that great.
Yeah.
Just
Don't
knocked me
speak.
down.
Don't speak too soon.
Yeah, he just knocked me down.
You just
So,
jinxed that so bad.
exactly. I know. I shouldn't have said it.
It's all right. Can't win them all.
But you can sure as hell try.
Exactly.
That's right.
Not getting
I
this
got
jump
that
right.
because of their.
Yeah, we've been blowing our jumps lately.
That was close. Yeah, I don't know what happened. Like, we were really good at our jumps, like, in the first games, and now, like...
Well, I think the biggest problem right now is you're trying to avoid that guy that's knocking your ass down. So
That's
your
true.
Yeah.
your timing's a little off.
And then when I look up to look for the ball, I can't tell where they are.
Yeah, it's hard to coordinate. Oh, no, 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 no,
I did it
no. Ah! I don't know why I'm upset.
Glitch.
Yay! It went out of bounds.
You know what else is funny is I've gotten exactly 0 tickets when we've won.
Really?
No joke. All my tickets have come when we lost.
What?
Oh wow.
Talk about ass
That's funny.
backwards.
Well, they did say there's a big error, so
Yay.
Okay, I know it's easy at this point to, knock Cryptic down, but for crying out loud, this is year 7. This is not... What are they doing over there?
yeah, tickets
Listen.
due for losing.
Copper ticket.
I got no tickets again. Yeah, I got 0.
I got a copper ticket for losing.
Did you? Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get any that time.
I've been in the business for 25 years, so I can tell you a little more about what it takes to code something.
Yeah.
You can't fathom how many millions of lines of code are in this thing, and to figure out which one stupid little variable in one stupid little function that is, blowing something up is one of the most difficult tasks there is.
Oh,
believe
trust me, I know that too. I do the same thing. I do code troubleshooting and on a part time, and I have to go through billions of lines of code.
Yeah, I'm not a coder. I'm actually a hardware expert, and I'm recertifying for the cloud right now. But I program SQL. I run PowerShell scripts that can sometimes be thousands of lines. So yeah,
But that's
I
fair
took
enough.
Visual Basic in high school.
The one thing I
fill
do
out-
have, I'm a little bit, I suppose, understanding of. And okay, sure, you have to have time constraints and the budgets, and then you need to move on to the next mod, probably already 2 or 3 mods ahead in terms of planning and all that stuff. But you have an issue in terms of the insurgency boss drops. Like the person doing the most damage or whatnot. Literally in the DLC, whatever you call it, between previous mod, and then you release this mod, and you have the exact same issue with Mog and Gary. I guess they're just too. Well, I figure they're understaffed. I would imagine they are, but I don't actually know for sure. But why
well,
not?
and that's
If you already fixed this once and it's the exact same mechanism, why not? Oh, why not just try and fix it before you release it?
because it. If it was the same bug, I bet you they'd have fixed it. But because it appears to be the same bug, but it's coming from a different part of the code.
But my thing is,
That's-
what if it's not a? I mean, that would explain it, I suppose. But what if it's not a bug? Because it seemed like it's actually designed, which is just someone as a sadist over there, whoever it is. Doesn't have to be the programmers. There could be some suit in an office corner,
I really think that what it is you do have a smaller-ish team that's working on it, and essentially what they do is they go and they put as many new ideas as they can, and then they pull out the ideas that don't work, and then they kind of go, it's good enough,
Yeah.
because they're under a time constraint. And you're right, they're putting out what, 3 or 4 modules a year.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things. I was in Alliance chat the other day, and we had a whole, god damn it, there he is again.
Yeah, I know. I just saw it.
Why?
Anyway, a bunch of people were really bitching because they couldn't do the new Zerial trial, and they were bitching that like only the top 0.1% of people could actually do the trial. And I was just explaining to them, listen, those 1% or 0.1% of people, I guarantee you that those are the ones who actually pay the salaries of the devs. They're the ones with all the money, who are the whales that are,
Well, I mean,
that are really paying for all this free content we get to play with.
But I mean, yes and no, because I presume it's going to be the same for Neverwinter. I could be wrong without actually having access to their internal figures. It's fairly well known that in many free-to-play games, you have 0.5 to 2% of the population of the game are the ones who actually finance the game, the whales, I should say. But we also know there are some players, at least what they claim in the forums, of course, what people claim isn't necessarily what's true, but who will say, they played the game so long, earned so much in-game currency and converted it that they no longer need to spend money and have thousands or tens of thousands of cents in the game. There are still whales in the game. There has to be, surely. But it would be interesting to see the percentage, like how many of what we would call how many of them still spend money or significant sums of money, and who doesn't spend.
Went over.
It went over, yeah.
I mean, I don't expect to run Serial anytime soon. Maybe never. I just want to get Tom done and get the Lionheart weapon set. That's my current goal. I need more power.
Well, here's the thing: if there are no whales, I guarantee you, we're not. There's going to be no game.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I realize that without actually trying it, no one can say for sure whether it would be a success or not. But there have been when I wish they would almost just turn this into a subscription-based game, because at least it would be a stable income. Question is, how many people would then run away from the game, and how many would be willing to pay up?
Yeah.
I mean, if it's VIP price, right? A bunch of people who already pay for VIP might be saying, well, it's the same thing.
Well, that was bull.
That go in. It was going out and then it weaves back in.
Yeah. Honestly, though,
Yeah,
like,
I see
I've
that.
had a similar thought, like, if the game was subscription-based, because, like, the only other MMO I play is Dofus, and it is subscription-based, like, you have to pay to play, and honestly, like, it's still a healthy game, people still play it, like, I don't mind paying the subscription, and I buy my VIP with, like, my personal real money anyways, just as a way to support the game, right, because it is free to play, like... They depend on people to buy Zen or buy VIP, right? So, I don't know, like, it's hard to say, like, even if they made, like, all the content from, like, let's say 1 to 60 free, and then, like, if you wanted to start doing campaigns and whatnot, you had to do a subscription, because usually by that point, people can kind of tell, like, okay, I like the game, I don't like the game, whatever, right?
Although,
Yeah, that would be worth.
Yeah, although if you go to like the forums, there are so many, for lack of a better term, newbies constantly asking the same questions, and I think that goes back to what happened in Mod 16. A lot of left, there are less veterans in game to take people under their wing and show them the ropes, and so they just basically wander around the internet until they find the Reddit forums, and people. I frequently have seen people talk about, oh, I'm having a lot of fun, level 26 or level 44, and now I hit level 70 or now I hit level 80. What next? And some of these people will realize the grind wall they're going up against at that point. And I mean, that's to be expected in an MMO, but I think some people are still shocked by it. I suspect some of these people are not regular gamers, you know, people who played for decades but are somewhat new to the gaming scene. And for them, it will be a shock.
Yeah, I didn't really know what to coming into it because I've never played an MMORPG before this one.
Yeah.
I've only played the single player stuff like Skyrim.
Mhm.
Well, I did EVE Online, but that's a totally different concept.
Oh yeah, I mean, EVE Online. I've never played it. I love the stories that come out, but the whole maybe like the description of it being like a spreadsheet and an incredibly steep curve. If that's true, then it's probably not. It's certainly not this late in the game.
Well, the graphics are so incredible in it. The thing I didn't like about it is it's PvP whether you want it to be or not.
Yes.
And like being able to choose whether or not you want to partake in PvP.
Yeah. Like anytime I see a promising new MMO or whatever, and it comes forced PvP, I'm like, okay, dead on arrival, done.
Yeah.
I get it. Some people really love that thrill, and I can imagine why that constant adrenaline, being on edge. Am I going to be attacked when I'm farming this material or not? That does it for some people. I'm not that type of person. There's enough.
Well, yeah, me neither.
There's enough in my in the real world that I don't need that added aggravation. If I want it, then I'll seek it out like on a separate PvP server.
Yeah, exactly.
I forgot where I read it. It was an article where they discussed the whole issue between forced PvP and not. And they said the underlying issue is that in any of the games that do this, all of us probably are aware of this, is that, let's say Bob here goes out, he farms iron wood so he can craft X amount of longbows or whatever and sell them. Now some rogue comes along, and forces, assassinates him out of the blue. Now, even if they implement a system saying, well, you're now flagged as being a player killer and everyone will be on the map and people might hunt you and the local NPC guard might chase you and all that, even if they get you and nail that guy, unless Bob gets all of his stolen stuff back, that doesn't matter to Bob.
Nice.
Mhm.
Did you score?
Yeah, we did. Sorry.
Yeah.
Nice. Well done. No, that's fine. I'm rambling a bit here. But if Bob doesn't get his stuff back, then it doesn't matter. To him, it will still have been wasted time. All the hours done farming that material.
Mhm.
So there's no justice for that individual player, and that's not going to be fun.
No.
Yeah, I know. Mhm. I was just gonna say, like, earlier today, I spent a good amount of time, like, maybe like a half hour, talking with Julia, just about different things in the game and whatnot. And admittedly, like, she admits, like, yeah, Mod 16 didn't go over well. Even Mod 15 with Acquisitions Incorporated, it didn't go well, And she said, unfortunately, like, even taking, like, suggestions and whatnot that are in the game, like, that are being suggested right now, it's still going to be 2 or 3 modules before we start to see those changes being implemented, because devs don't just develop a new map and a whole new quest zone and new content overnight. It takes a lot of planning and a lot of timing and a lot of coding to go through, and a lot of people don't really realize that, and they set unreasonable expectations on the Cryptic team.
And I'm probably partly guilty of that too. I mean, I know I am, because I'm not a programmer. I work with national security stuff and stuff, but not actually coding. And nonetheless, though, I've also, so I do understand that some projects, you have to, what you're delivering now, what didn't happen last month, that was done maybe 1 quarter or 3 or 4 quarters ago, and now it's coming to fruition. Yeah, it's not, it's like a big ship. It doesn't turn on a dime.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. But, yeah, I had a really good discussion, actually, with, Julia. One of the main things that I was, asking her about was, how feedback is received. Because I told her, like, right now, as it is, the most feedback received in the game comes from 2 sources. The forums being one, and then as well when they have their beta teams testing, which is great that they have, like, exclusive teams already testing them, but the problem is...
That was an awesome goal, man.
That was an awesome goal.
I'm not sure how that went in, but it was awesome.
Yeah. But I was saying, like, the main problem with it is, like, a lot of the people, well, all the people testing, they're all from, like, elite players, right? They don't represent a vast majority.
Exactly, and that's my main. I mean, I haven't Zariel's, and I haven't seen much of it on a short little bit of a part of a clip. I have no issue with them making bone hard, difficult content for the the end gamers. That's fine. That's great. But it just seems to me that between the last two months, like with Tom and with Serial's trial, it seems like they left out any major content other than the campaign for the people who are at the end game, but not the end game, and then certainly for the people in the middle and the newcomers have all the old content to go through anyway. But it kind of seems like there's a gap that wasn't filled for those who are not on that very elite level.
You know, there's a lot to be said for some of these mechanics that I could tell they wanted to have in the game, and that they've just completely, especially with the control wizard, you have abilities like steal time and imprisonment and repel, and you could really build interesting mechanics around forcing the players to control mobs rather than just kill them all. And have not done any of that at all.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
there's like, I've been like maybe call it six boss fights in the entire game, where I had to use any mechanical skill whatsoever.
Yeah. I mean,
everything else was just burned down.
And that makes me think of mod 16. And okay, I realize that as scathing in my critique as I can be of cryptic at times, I also understand that those are living human beings who have their own concerns and dreams and hopes and fears and whatnot. And I don't actually hate them on an individual level. I do have a strong dislike of Foss. I don't get sent over to Magic the Gathering department. Is that where you ended up?
Oh, Thomas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Chris White, what's his name?
Whitehead. I think it's Whitehead, isn't it?
Something. I always get confused because I know someone that's named Chris Whitfield. So I keep getting it confused, and I keep wanting to say Chris Whitfield, but I know that's not it.
No, I'm 99.8% sure it's Whitefield. Or Whitehead.
Whitehead?
Yeah, now I'm doing it.
See? It's confusing, right?
Yeah. I mean, like,
Just call him Bob the Coder, and it's that simple.
I mean, Chris, what I've seen of him in various feeds, he seems like a sympathetic guy, and I want to like him and root for him, but because of so many, at least perceived disappointment years, it's also going to take more than just a few streams of pleasant chit chat. I do think I've started to notice a more greater cohesiveness in some of the campaign stories, and it's not just Chris doing. I mean, you have teams of people doing this, but if he's the one guiding it, maybe we're starting to see his touch, if you will, some of the stuff coming out. But maybe I'm just kidding myself, because if they're planning stuff 2 or 3 mods out, we could be looking at Foss design. And yes, I am upset with Foss's thing. Okay, so mod 16, I disagree with how they handled it. Okay, I can get behind the fact that sure, power creep was getting out of hand. I love being able to face roll stuff. I do. I love being able to go back to something where I struggled 6 months ago, and now I look at it and it drops dead. I think that's great. Some players don't. That's the fundamental difference in a sense of fun gaming, I guess. And I don't. Really
No, I love that too.
Yeah, and I don't really know how you would cater to both sides at the same time. So
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I like face rolling stuff really hard, especially stuff I used to kick my ass.
Yeah.
That's why I can't wait to get my item level up to 26 or 27k, and I can just face roll through Velen and Avernus, you know.
Until scaling comes along. Okay, that stuff has to go. I don't like it is the antithesis of any kind of loot or grinder and MMOs. It undermines the whole purpose of getting stronger if you're just going to get nerfed.
That's
yeah, no,
something-
and it should be the exact opposite. It should scale up, not scale down.
Yeah, and if they're going to have scaling, which I still don't want them to, but if they're going to insist on it, for goodness sake, at least make it so that if you're over capped, then you get capped at the highest possible level part of the game. Because, like for example, if I go into Kessel's run, I did it a couple of weeks back, I ended up stripping down. The only thing I had equipped was my weapon set and my primary artifacts. And of course, my companion and whatnot. And initially my power went down and my stats went down. And then they went back up. when I took off more gear. That makes sense. I mean, I know this is fantasy game, but it's kind of like a combat soldier. Take off your body armor and remove half your weapons, and you're actually going to be better off. No, you wouldn't be.
Hey, look, we don't have Dragon Boy to deal with.
Yeah.
And I think, unless I'm wrong, I think they've only got 4 players.
I think they do.
You know what that means?
Yep.
Oh no, there he popped in now.
I was gonna say it means you better win. So,
It means face roll. That's right.
yeah. I mean, when they gutted the combat system, I really like the old combat system. I like things to be fast. There's such a thing as too fast, but that was Neverwinter's undeniable in the whole was the combat, and it's still better than many other MMOs. Like ESO has, I think, from what I've experienced, has more quality in terms of it has bugs, but a lot of things just seem to be polished more. But the combat is floaty and unsatisfying, and when you're spending a lot of your time in combat, then. But why did I figured, okay, yeah, I'm not the programmer here, but I'm just thinking if their concern was, they claimed at the time that they didn't want people burning down bosses in a few seconds, that power creep was out of control and all that stuff. Instead of just gutting everything and then having a mess that took almost a year to start to iron out, why not just try to make some tweaks initially? Instead of having multiplicative buffs, have it be additive. See how that turns out. Test it for a few weeks or a month or two. If you're still not satisfied, tweak it further or get rid of it like they did eventually.
Well, I know
Because-
the current item level system, for example, it's just a temporary fix. Like I know they're planning to completely redesign the scaling system. They just wanted to temporarily improve it the best they could until they can release that. And as well, I have direct contact with Chris through Discord, so I talk to him from time to time about different things, and I honestly compared to Thomas anyways, nothing negative against Thomas, but I do feel like Chris has a lot of really good ideas and a lot of good intentions for the game, and I'm trying to think the best way to word it. But I think we're going to see a big improvement in the game in the next year or so, thanks to Chris. I'm almost confident in that.
and that's what,
even just the fact that there's going to be a new class, I think by the end of this year, is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So,
And that's my hope too. And I mean,
I heard about that. And I heard about them rehashing an old class.
Wait, what?
I heard them something about bringing back one of the older classes they scrapped.
But which class would that? We have all the. I mean, I've left the game on and off.
Well, there used to be a druid class at one point.
I think maybe in Neverwinter Nights you're thinking of.
Yeah, because there's not been in this game. I mean,
No, because the original that was in the tester one for a while, and they had druid for a while, and then it got changed over to ranger.
okay, because back in 2013, I came in after the first half year, and the 2 new classes that I remember are paladin and warlock. I mean, over the years.
Well, these were just in tester modes, so they never actually made it to the game itself.
All right, so it was that early on. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, this was way back when that Shannon whatever that Sheridan whatever when that first jumped, they were going to put a druid there.
All right. Well, I mean, that's the thing. Speaking of going back to Chris, that is my impression too when he's done some of the dev streams that I've watched. I don't want, but he seems genuine and he seems to generally want to improve things, and he does seem to have some neat ideas. I don't have to agree with everything he proposes to recognize that. I have to ask you guys about this because I haven't verified this from official sources, and I would want to verify this. But apparently, over the last year or year and a half, apparently at some point they had some sort of Twitter feed giveaway gift. Was I guess was legendary insignia, and someone apparently found that there was a glitch in it and was able to massively abuse it to the point that it had 1 billion 80s worth of legendary insignia. And as the story goes, take it with a grain of salt, but as the story goes, the player got a 3-day ban, but they didn't remove all from his character account. If that's true, that is just. I know the service department is separate from Cryptic; they're not the same. But still, if that's true, that's. I think most players would take a slap on the wrist and say, "Okay, I won't play the game for 3 days, but I'll have a billion 80s worth of material I can sell."
I want to say that's not true, because I remember even just with the, I forget what packs it was, with the runic bags that there were in there, and there was like some guy that claimed like 500 bags or something, like to put on all his alts. It was ridiculous. And he got a permaban. Like, Cryptic doesn't exactly just let that kind of thing slide. You know, if you're going to do something excessively, you get banned. Like, Neverwinter doesn't beat around the bush in that way. So I have a feeling that's probably false.
Yeah, because it does sound too good to be true. And I mean, I realized that take stuff with a grain of salt on Reddit or anywhere else if it's not from the official forums. At the same time, you can't always trust the official story either, whether it's from government or a private corporation, because there are things they don't want to have everyone know either for various reasons.
Yeah.
So it can be very good.
Yeah, definitely. Though I gotta say, like, the Reddit, we try to keep it pretty clean and pretty accurate. You know, if someone's, like, in there spreading, like, exploits or misinformation or anything, we do try to keep on top of it.
By the way, have you noticed that, like, me and you and Vic here are all our hair is all very similarly colored?
Yeah.
Are we?
Like, we match. We almost look like a team. Yeah.
We're very similarly colored. We all have red and black, and
yeah, our black. A lot of black is really the key. Like, we really, we really are kind of coordinated with our evil looks.
We should, like, get, like, fashion items together. Like, matching fashion sets for our next runs, and, like, match the colors and everything.
I've got drow stuff. That's what I've got. I've got drow everything. I really like the drow stuff.
I have every fashion set except the pirate one.
Oh, nice.
I've got the mix and match.
Oh.
Hey, by the way, Enyo.
Yeah.
So back in 2017 when we were doing Dragonflight runs together with Kai and Bear and others. Back then you were focused on your your mount collection. So how big is it now?
Do you really want to know?
Yes,
it's dumb according to the videos I've seen. Dumb.
I have 191 mounts right now.
Good.
How many? Sorry, I joined partway through. How many's in the game?
What?
How many mounts is there in the game, though?
There's over 200, but trying to collect all the legendary ones, like, guys, I'm poor. I'm like a noob. I have no AD because I spend it all on mounts.
Well, and also some of the mounts were given on specific platforms. So
what? Why did that go up? Sorry, I kind of cut out there.
well done on the 191 mounts. I am suitably impressed.
I was like straight on, and then went straight up.
That was weird, but yeah, no, I'm still collecting mounts. I think I have 15 legendary mounts now, but
man, you make me seem like an amateur at this. I've got, I think, like 54 mounts, but only one legendary so far. But who's counting? Yeah.
Where the hell the ball?
yeah.
I have zero legendary mounts. I'm literally the slowest person in the alliance.
Oh,
and
okay, so
like half the time when I'm part of a group and they're going and killing whatever it is that they're killing, I get there just in time to like shoot one at will and then it's dead. Like that's all I get.
You get the killing blow. There you
Well,
go.
theirs goes in, but mine doesn't. Real nice.
Okay, so personal preference. I know people have different tastes, but frankly, when I see some new player, on the starting mount and they're moving really slowly, I feel. I'm like, man, I remember that part. That sucked. My personal view: legendary mount speed should be the default mount speed, and then it should be faster than that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I remember, what was it? Like, way when Neverwinter first began, it was really difficult to get your first mount. You had to be level 20 to use a mount
Yeah.
to begin with.
Yeah,
And then
that's
even
right.
then, you didn't get like a free one to use. You had to farm 5 gold and then like buy one yourself. And that was really hard to do as a new player. You know, by the time you hit level 20, you got maybe like 30 silver or something. So once I hit
spend
level 60 at the time and like I was kind of settled, I used to go and I would buy like all the mounts I could with all my gold, and I'd go to Black Lake District and just give them out to people. It was the best thing
That's
ever.
very kind of you. Very generous.
It was nice. But yeah, I
So
remember. Mhm.
just so you're aware, now I'm now I think maybe 10 matches in with a ticket.
With
I've
one
I
ticket? No ticket.
like no, I've gotten a total of 5 tickets in the maybe 30 games I played. Yeah.
Well, wooey, boy.
I'm not much better. I think I've got 4.
Yeah, it's it is obviously bugged out the
Are you
waz.
sure? Are you sure? Because
Uh-huh.
I've got 10.
That's WAI, working as intended. You guys just haven't gotten the memo.
I have 10.
Oh no, I lied. I got one more. I have 6.
I've got 10 for some reason.
Big spender. No, but speaking of Chris and fan and all this stuff and free to play versus not, that is something that's I mean, it might change with Chris because he comes from Guild Wars 2, and they certainly understand the whole thing about Fashion Wars 2. But that it surprises me that Cryptic has missed this trick or hasn't been allowed to do it, whatever the case may be, over the fashion. It doesn't affect your actual game stats or abilities. And sure, some people might still complain, like, I want that really cool hat, but I can't afford it. Well, it doesn't actually hurt you in terms of gameplay, so either pony up the cash or just accept that you're not going to have it. But
Mhm.
you could people will spend money on. I mean, I normally in the past would be like, that's frivolous. Why would people spend hundreds or thousands of dollars on fashion? And then I started playing Guild Wars 2, and I suddenly realized why. Because I am insane. And but people will spend money on it. We do it in real life too. People want to look good or cool or whatever. Sometimes they want to look like the original starting gear just to troll people when they're actually a BIS character.
Mhm.
Oh, I've seen that a few times, people running around in low-level things saying, can you give me money? Can I need some gold? I'm broke. Things.
And then you take an inspection. Oh, wait a minute. So how do you have that, 2 of those epic grade artifacts, and it's not the ones you get from any kind of quest, and you've got various enchantments. Oh, I forgot to take those out. Huh. Imagine that. I feel a little bit when I sort of counter troll people like that in zone chat now and then, because it could be they are generally a new player, but I'm suspicious. I grew up in Nana, and they're nice people there, but we expect to get ripped off in terms of corruption and stuff like that. If you think it's bad in the West, it's on a whole nother scale in many developing parts of the world. I mean, it's basically the point. If you were, for example, I remember sometimes people who would come from like Britain or other parts of the West and they'd be representing big corporations. And they were told, you have this and this budget to start your new branch here, and then often they'd have to go back to HQ and say,
Oh, okay. Somehow I got into a pug.
Yeah, cuz Sithmal went AFK and I didn't realize it. So I declined. He declined, or he missed the queue invite, the queue thing to join. So he got kicked out of the group right away, and it kept us in queue. So then I declined, but I think you accepted. So just when you're done that game, we can reform.
Yeah. No, it's just quick. So what they would find out was that nope, you need more money. Well, you already have your budget, yeah, but if you want this to get, you have to graft or bribe local politicians to even get it off the ground. And that's not usually how. Certainly in my native country, that's not necessary.
Mm-hmm.
I'm shocked if you mention that.
This guy's useless. These guys are useless. What they're doing is they're all running forward and leaving no defenses.
Oh man, it's like There it is, the pug love. I don't mind pugging, but for crying out loud, when you get some of these absolutely hopeless teams, you're just, my God.
You ask
Yeah.
if they know how to do things, and nobody says that they don't. And then they obviously really do not know how to do it.
Yeah, I get that some people might be afraid of being kicked if they say, I'm new to this. Because there are some people who would do that. But I would rather someone say, hey, I've done this before. Okay, we'll just explain that boss fight to you before we actually go in. Because, I mean, okay, I have explained, for example, COD to people in the middle of the push-pull. It's not ideal sitting there having to type while I'm trying to not fall off the platform.
Mm-hmm.
I had someone kick me off the icy RTQ. I can't remember what it's called.
Stormvault.
Yeah. They decided to kick me off it just after Mod 19 released when I didn't know how to do my new healing, and that was, and I hadn't done it before, and I literally said to them, I don't know how to do this.
Gray, you're on the Discord. Hey, listen. I want to change the subject.
Okay.
Layer of the Mad Mage. I'm bitching to tell people this all night long.
Okay.
Okay, so you've got Arcturia, right?
Yeah.
The first boss, and you know how the mimics spawn and everyone blows it, and you want, people are saying, oh, well, you've got to have 140,000 power in order to do that boss fight. Not true. Not true at all. I figured out exactly how to handle it, and you I had, I've only got 2K item level. I killed the mimics with no problem whatsoever. So essentially, here's what you do: get your DPS to only use at wills against the boss, and all they do is watch the corner while shooting their at wills at the boss. Okay, and then what you do is, as soon as the mimics pop, you blow all your encounter powers. You'll kill the first one outright. They'll recycle, have enough time to kill the second one before it gets there, and even the third one. I struggled with that the first 3 times I did LOM, and we quit on that first. We had really low DPS. We had a DPS who was only 28.5K, and we still beat Arcturia no problem.
Well, let me just ask you one thing there, because I noticed you mentioned shoot your at wills at the boss and then at the counter. Are you a ranged DPS class?
I'm a control whiz. Yeah, I'm a super pew pew blaster ADD freak nut.
Because I'm a GWF, and that means I have to get up close and personal, and that's what until I had the power. That's one of the bigger challenges for me in Arcturia, is that I have done a lot, which means I burn off the stamina too quickly, and at some point it just ends up being
I've gotten to the point. There's only two of us actually. Playing. Everybody else is just sitting on the ground doing nothing. So it's literally 5 against 2.
That's too.
We're getting our asses handed to us.
Okay, so here's the thing. Here's the thing about that. Even as a DWF, right, or a TW fighter, right, or
well, they're called. I refuse to use this name, but I'll do this one. They're called barbarians now, but I still call them GWFs.
Okay, gotcha. Great weapon fighter, yeah. GWF. I was trying to figure out what that letter was. Anyway, again, if you didn't stand, what the trick is, don't try to DPS the boss, because you have to DPS the mimics. And the other thing about Arcturia that, if you're not paying attention, you haven't noticed, but it's the mimic phases come at 75%, 50%, 25%. It's very specific, and it's not just like a time-based thing, right? So it doesn't matter how long it takes you to get to the 75%. As soon as you see it get around 75%, look at the corner, because it's coming. And it's only 3 times. It only occurs 3 times. And from what I can tell, it goes 2, 2, 3. So it's 2 mimics the first time, 2 mimics the second time, 3 mimics the third time. And like I said, when we did it, we had very low DPS. We had one 24K. I was at 21, and the other guy was at 20 and a half for the DPS. Now the tank and the heals were both pretty high. He was 26 and 25.
Yeah. When I
but-
tank it, I make a point of saving my my encounter powers and also one of my dailies if I can, because then I can at least clear the first one without any real issue.
Yeah, the first one is actually the easy one, and seems to blow it at the second one. They just kind of lose their minds and completely forget.
I'm speaking of
This got to the point in this match, everybody's sitting down except for like one person.
that's a sad. That's pity. No, but like
Because everybody pretty much just gave up.
speaking of tank Arcturia, man, I've tanked her when I switch over to Brahm's tank setup loadout. But that fight is because she does not stand still. It's just like a sack of fleas, man. I have aggro and I have it all the time, but she's just all over the place. Like most other fights you can place, and it's a pain in the ass. And if you stand still, you get that black wood stuff that drains your AP. It's like,
Right. So like I said, I mean, like, okay, as a GWF, what I would probably do is just watch the corner. I might not even participate in the fight except for at the very last phase after the mimics are done, and let your R-Deeps handle just basic plink damage, until you to the phases. Because
That's all well and good until you get close combat DPSs.
yeah, that's the thing. Like, because I mean, range combat. I mean, we've seen this with Bell. We've seen this in the second boss in IC. I'm not saying it can't be done because I've done it with others, so clearly it can be done. Those fights absolutely favor range DPS.
Oh yeah,
Definitely.
yeah.
That's not hating on the range DPS. It just makes me wonder, whomever designed it, did they not realize how that would turn out? Because it were designed in terms of class balance.
Well, yeah, it really is poor design in those terms. Because you're right, you really should. The fight should be based around a group. A tank, a tank, a healer, one range DPS, one close combat DPS, and a buffer
Everybody,
debuffer
I'm
or
just running
control.
around kicking the walls for something to do.
I almost feel like I should watch this stream, except that I know that Enyo's not in there.
It's funny. Everybody's literally starting in their start positions, and there's like me and the goalie just kicking the ball back and forth.
By the way, I don't know your name, so I'm just gonna right now describe you as the lady with the British accent.
You'd be right with that.
Yeah. So what character name do you go by, just so I can identify?
Grayla.
Okay, I'll try to remember.
ET.
If I forget, then apologies in advance. But you mentioned earlier that you were doing a run because the healers and people just booted you at the end of the fight, or in the middle of it, or.
Oh, so it was the first time I've ever done it, and it was just after Mod 19, and me and the other healer we were doing stuff, but I didn't know the mechanics of it, like, you stay away for these certain things, or do this and do that, and it just, because I went down first, I couldn't heal anybody else. So then they instantly said, healers are bad, kick them both. It was a pug, it wasn't a lion's.
Yeah, no, okay, I was gonna say. I mean, because I have sympathy for the healers. I know there's some of the healers who say, "Oh no, this is fun. Got to get used to the different style." Okay, there may be.
Oh
Some
no,
validity.
I'm used to this now. It's great. It's
Okay,
great
well-
now. I've got used to it.
When I first heard of the changes, when I first going to get rid of the charge part for clerics, I tried it when I came back, and I think it was a bad design. Making a player stop in the middle of combat to recharge if they don't get the balance entirely right, it's immersion breaking. It completely takes you out of what you're doing, and that's not generally a good thing, at least not in my view. Why would you want to deliberately?
Well, that was annoying.
So I'm glad to hear that you think it's better, because on paper it seemed like it would be, but
I'm a
okay.
warlock, so it's changed.
Oh yeah,
completely.
yeah. It's like the warlock seems to. I haven't played. I mean, I have the 12 alts I have. I've basically they're all retired. I just play my DPS tank GWF now, and that'll have to do. Yeah. But it seems that the warlock may have gotten one of the shakes out of the healing shake-up, so to speak. I think Paladin probably got hit the hardest by it. I could be mistaken.
Yeah, I've seen people saying that.
But I mean,
Plus.
and a lot of the people can
Give me a minute.
say might just need to get better at playing the class. But here's the thing, though. This is what Enyo mentioned earlier. I don't know if she's still actually awake here with us.
I'm here.
You're there. Cool. But and I agree with you. You know, that's one of the things we've had since Mod 16, maybe earlier. By all means, incorporate feedback from some of the elite players, but they do not represent the vast majority of the player base. And when they argue, what I read in official forums regarding the healing changes was that they felt, healing was too easy. Yeah, but who do they base that off? Because I'm fairly sure a number of average players from Pug runs, had a hard enough time healing as it was. They absolutely get discouraged by the current healing system. And that means less healers, which means less Qs popping, which means potentially more playing, and it can spiral out of there. And some would say, well, the classic get good. Yeah, well, not everyone is. Not everyone.
I'm out my Q group.
Sorry, what?
And you sent me a message.
Oh.
I had done an REDQ. I did an REDQ, and there was someone in there that had K item level.
Had how much
what?
item level?
15k.
Oh,
What were
15k.
which dungeon did you get?
We got Malabog's castle, so it weren't too bad.
No. Oh, okay. So, sorry, go ahead. I thought you were done.
No, sorry.
I apologize in advance. Sometimes this is delays, like someone speaking, and I end up stepping on them. I don't mean to be.
Oh, don't worry.
So apparently they lowered the item level on Law, because what's up in 20? It used to be, was it 22 or 23k? I think it was 22k before. So that also means we're scaled back further. As remember, I was surprised because last time I got one Pug, I looked at one guy because he was struggling. I'm like, how the hell did a 20.5k IL person get in there? And yeah, I get it. It does not actually tell you whether the player is any good or not, especially for DPS, because some of the older gear is still better than some of the higher IL gear. Set bonuses.
Right.
Yeah, but it nonetheless, IL can still be a somewhat useful indicator of, okay, if 24 plus K player, I expect them not to be a complete newbie certainly at understanding some of their class spec, other things in the game.
Well, the big that I've seen so far with what's going on with things like that is that all of the players who have 27, 28k item level, because they just face roll everything, you have a whole lot of people who don't learn how to play characters because they don't ever have to.
Yeah.
And so they just stand in the red areas and they go down and they just, act retarded. Again, I'm a fairly low eye level guy for an 80, and I frequently out DPS all kinds of people because I know how to stay alive and keep DPSing.
Yeah. When I returned, I think it was Tales of Old. That was in April, right? The event. I think it was in April. So that's when I returned. I've been gone for about a year and 4 months, and I was 18.7, 18.8k item level when I returned, and I got it up to get into various runs. Managed to get into Tales of Old because again I reached out to some old contacts and stuff, and numerous cases where I was out DPSing rogues and rangers who were sometimes 3,000-4,000 item level points, higher than 10 to 26,000 more power than me. There, at that point, they should absolutely be doing more damage to me. And if I'm out DPSing them, maybe they're not comfortable or not familiar with their class and their rotation. Now, if I go like right now, my power needs to go further. If it'd be nice if I had another 20k power for time and whatnot, right? So if I go up against someone who is 198 or 200,000, yeah, they will out DPS me, especially if they know what I'm doing. I just can't keep up, especially in long fights, because they have more time to build up an even greater lead. By the way, Enyo, I did a quick test at the stronghold, and you're right. Not that I doubted you, I was just curious to see. But the Rarity Boon does do more damage than the 8k power boon.
It does.
At least on mine, yeah, it does.
Yeah, because what happened, like, in the past, the power boon used to be better just because it was, like, a more solid bonus. But now that it gets counted, like, as a buff, essentially, your outside buffs don't multiply it at all. So, you know, even when you're getting buffed, you're using potions or even gear that gives you a +% power, that 8,000 isn't being counted in that. And a lot of people seem to misunderstand that. So,
speaking of which, maybe you guys already know, I haven't tested it, but when we take watermelon sorbet, does that include buff power? Like, for example, a tinderbox, which gives 2.4k power, or maybe a bit more if you have it in Mythic. Will that buff the entire total power 10% or only my power?
usually only your base power.
Okay.
So your external buffs really only count for your base power, usually, and not like your total power.
Yeah, because that was my understanding based on the changes they made with and since mod 16.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, watermelon sorbet is still great. Last after death, like Storm, Rider, Elixir, and stuff like that. Because that stuff ain't cheap and PI in town. A lot. I'm still, and you're going to do Tom with me at some point. I know it's not your thing, but you should. I still haven't completed it. I've gotten to phase 3, close to phase 4, but I haven't completed it yet.
I don't know. I'm just not. Like, I used to really like Tomb of the Nine Gods, Cradle when it came out. Like, I used to like a lot of those raids, not necessarily dungeons, because Cradle isn't a dungeon. And it was good, but now, like, since, like, I've done LOM, but, like, once Tom hit and Zariel and whatnot, I don't know, it kind of takes the fun out of it when you have to be, like, you know, you have to have everything at a certain point. You have to have your DPS perfect, like, otherwise you can't complete the run. And I don't know, it kind of takes the fun out. There's no wiggle room, essentially. I feel like that's so weird to say.
Yes.
But it's like you have to use the meta, or you can't do the content. And I don't really like that. It's not my cup of tea, so.
I agree. And I wanted to ask you, and I'm still going to ask you, do you perhaps think that part of the lack of interest in it is due to, for example, forming 2 parties, or a party of 10, if you will, 2 parties of 5? It is way more time consuming, and it's a lot harder to get one on the same page than, just popping into a Castle Never when it was tough, or Tong when it was tough. Sure, it could still be frustrating, but it is so much easier just to get 5 player, and it's way easier to coordinate too. You could argue that, okay, Tiamat in the old days, we could carry. You could have, if you had 2 heavy hitters, you could carry 7 noobs, pardon the term. You can't really do that anymore. And
did you just score on our own net?
Did they really?
No.
It's
First of all, I don't know who this Red Reaper guy is that you invited, but he's not even playing. He was AFK, like.
Can you vote?
He's a friend of mine.
Oh,
No,
okay.
he's still dead weight, man. I mean, if he needs to,
He's
if he
going.
needs to wait. I'm just calling it as it is. If he needs to do something else, that's cool. I get it. Real life is more important than the game. Either say something or leave the team so someone else can fill the spot.
Yeah.
He's playing now. It's because he was PMing me, right?
Okay, there we go. All right.
So he's chatting with
blowing up
me.
your
It's an
DM.
excuse. It's okay.
Yeah, but I agree with your assessment, and I think that's why, like for example, Serial, I like to try and run at least every bit of content once, just to say, hey, been there, done that, got the post.
And I'm the same. Like I want to run it like at least once, and say like, okay, I know like the basic mechanics. I know, just a little bit. Like I've at least been in there, and I know what it's about. But after that, I don't really care to run it. And
Yeah,
even
and
though often people like will tell me like, why don't you have the Lionheart weapons? And it's like, well, the only reason to have the Lionheart weapons is so that you can do this harder content, and I don't want to do the harder content. So why would I spend time farming something for something I don't even care for, right?
True.
That's just
Now, I
my
mean, there's
opinion.
Yeah, no, but I agree with it. I mean, I share it, but there's also some alterations for me personally. I don't care too much about what other people think about my characters. At the same time, once you do get a bit of bragging rights gear, it is nice to have it. That doesn't mean I begrudge others having it. That's the difference. I think what I've seen in various online, whether it's Destiny 1 or 2, or whether it's Neverwinter or whatnot, there exists a certain type of elitist where it's almost as if this same stuff loses value if other people have it, and I disagree, because this is not like the real world where, hey, if everyone has gold like Stars did in the past, like the Ink Empire, my Empire, it didn't have the same value because to them it was like wood is to Scandinavians, right? But this is a game. You your battle stories, you still have your achievement. No one can take that away from you. But if you feel that it's not worth anything because you can no longer lord it over other people and say, ha ha, you suck, get good, that issue is with the person. It's not the game that's the problem. It's you.
Okay, I'm gonna point something you guys out that you probably haven't been noticing because you're too busy talking.
Yeah.
That one Tarash guy has the spike. He's hitting it before you guys do.
He has that
Yeah.
knockback too.
Yeah, I've noticed. There's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah. Still doing pretty good considering.
Yeah.
What's the score?
2-1.
That's not so bad.
Does anyone know what we get if we win?
Nothing.
Yes.
You actually get
Nothing.
Absolutely jack shit.
You have a
It's-
chance to get tickets.
fireworks and food.
Fireworks. We get lots of fireworks.
Yeah. Well, apparently these gentlemen have been getting bronze tickets or copper tickets for losing, but they don't get them when they win. So, let's go in the match.
I've done one match other than this, and I got a copper ticket. I
Ah.
lost.
There you go.
Mhm.
Protection prize.
Yeah, I have like 91 copper tickets now.
How are you getting so many?
One day? What have you been? Have you only been playing Sahha Ball or what?
I think I have some left over from last year. That's why.
Okay.
It's gotta be because broken.
Oh man.
Did you
I mean,
manage to sort out the ball thing, Sith?
Sort out the what?
The volleyball. Did you manage to get a good run going, or did everyone just...
This is the volleyball.
No! The thing where you had to keep it in the air to get prizes.
Oh gosh, no. No one could figure that. I gave up on that like right away.
Wait, you guys are talking about that like the epic grade Sahha Ball that you have to kick around like 20 times to get better prices, stuff like that. That one, right?
Yeah.
300 volleys is what it says. 300.
Okay,
Mhm.
so the trick, I don't know
Under
if
a
you know it or not,
bridge.
but the trick to do that, other than being, Olympian good at reading how the ball flies around space, you go under one of the bridges, and then you
Mhm.
stand close to it, and you aim up at an angle, and then you just keep knocking the ball right back to yourself.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like a rebound.
That's what we heard, but we couldn't. Nobody
Couldn't work it out.
stand close. I mean, you don't want to stand too close because then it like bounces over you. But you stand fairly close to the incline underneath the pier or the bridge. You can do it in different places.
Yeah, you know what I think? I really think that this actually is bugged. I think that when you win, you're supposed to get a silver or mithril ticket, and when you lose, you get copper tickets. And
Satisfaction of winning. Stop complaining. So no, I'm kidding. Yeah, I agree. You should be getting certainly. I mean, it makes no sense to get at least the same rewards as the losers, and actually, that doesn't even make sense. You need to get better rewards.
yeah, exactly. It just
It's broken.
It's Neverwinter.
Like-
It's funny because
Yes.
even if it is broken, let's say every time you won, you got one of the, what is it, mithril tickets for the legendary mounts. If you were getting one
Yeah.
every single time you won, this would be fixed by
you-
tomorrow.
Yes, exactly. And that's the
Yeah.
thing. Like, I know it's easy to hate on Cryptic and whatnot, but some of the criticism they do, and if they have limited resources, like you said, almost every time it benefits the player base and they don't like it, fixed pronto, no problem. They'll move heaven and earth for it. But if it's something that's they can suffer a bit more. Throw it on the pile.
So
yeah,
kind.
it's that's the thing. Like I was telling you, so I'm the slowest guy ever. Slow, and I've got to save up 5 million AD basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Cryptic evidently is just like, yeah, that's cool. Whatever.
It'll take you 50 days if you don't spend anything, and you get no major drops that you can sell.
Yeah, I haven't been like all the drops that I've been getting are drops that I could use, so I haven't had anything to sell at all.
I am a bit salty, but I've spent money on the game. I did spend some recently. Normally, I'm like, nope. If I'm not satisfied with how the game is going, I don't want to reward them. I get it. They can't. They have to reduce salary as well. But that's not how business works. You wouldn't pay for something you don't agree with, generally speaking. But when they do have a good deal, I will spend money. Like the 15 enchantment times 5 box and the R14 armor or what. When you got a discount on it with a discount coupon like the 50% one, that's not a bad deal. I mean, based on what it would normally cost you in game. If you look at it in terms of real world money, all of it's a bad deal because none of this can be taken out afterwards. It's just ones and zeros controlled on the server. Someone else can pull the switch on. But that aside, in game was a good deal. But that's something I'm salty about: the removal of salvage. And I love how they put that spin on when they said 100k AD per account, and they're like, oh, this is big news. Now you can make more AD than before. Yeah, if you have 2 characters or less. But for those of us with as soon as you have 3 characters or more, and I have 13, I didn't farm on us. It just became too much. But if I farmed 36k limit per day for 4 or 5 of them, and then with salvage, I could easily pull in an 400,000 AD per day. It literally takes me at least 3 times as long now to get the same result.
When you say salvage, you mean you are selling off items that dropped?
No, well, kind of. You know when you go, like, for example, to Sasha Star, Chult,
Right.
You will see some NPCs. You can also see in PE, there'll be this wizard guy standing around, and you can no longer really talk to him. Some of them you can, and salvage, you could take drops. It had to be epic drops. So, like, for example, if you're in COD and you get your 1500 piece of huntsman armor, not by now, you put him, turn it in, and he would pay you, I think it was like 1500 AD for it.
Oh, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, and so also when there was like double currency, there used to be massive trains, surge trains in the river district, and you would just run around between the SHEs, and then you would farm up. If you didn't claim the rewards, just like when you level up, you just leave it down there. It stacks up, even though you can't see it does. So then you keep doing that for hours and hours and hours until you're blue in the face, and then you go back to one point because you can only have 1,200 currencies from the campaign at any time. You get 1,200 currencies. You buy campaign rings for 300 of those per ring. Then you go turn them in for salvage, and you get a few thousand AD. Then you pop the next one until you filled up your 1,200, and you do that rinse repeat. And you could make hundreds of thousands of AD on a weekend of double currency. It was great. I mean, from the player's perspective, in terms of being able to buy stuff on the auction house, it was wonderful.
Well, yeah, I mean, okay, so it's 2 months of not buying any, improvements for your character.
Yeah.
I really just think that's a little excessive. And
I
I
agree.
mean, it's I understand the incentive to make you spend money
Yeah.
to go do it, to get it, but because they do it with lock boxes, which in my opinion is essentially gambling, and I live in Nevada, so I know all about gambling.
It's gambling.
The bottom line is, no, I'm not paying for that. I refuse.
Well, I'm glad to hear you say that. I mean, even if you had a different point of view, that's fair enough. But I am of the same opinion in that, or not just opinion. If we look at it, it's clear that someone has done their psychological homework, or they've hired someone to do it. I mean, the lock boxes, they're like one armband. They use the same tactics, they use the same methods. It triggers the same kind of neural response in the human brain, and some people are more susceptible to others. I, for one, I welcome government oversight and regulation of the gaming industry in terms of lock boxes. I know they're terrified of it because they know lose billions as the entire industry. But they should be scared. Look, I'm willing to pay. I don't expect a free lunch. And that's another thing that bothers me. Like you said, we're trying to encourage you by making things just miserable enough that you don't leave the game fully, but that you don't want to just wait around and spend 90 days twiddling your thumbs and refining
Yeah.
a KPI. And I'm like, look, how about going the opposite way? Instead of negative enforcement, positive. Make me want to spend money in a positive way. Like, hey, this is a really cool fashion item, or this is actually a really good deal. That's another thing. What's been the case for years. Stuff on the Sen market, a lot of it is outrageously priced when you can go on the auction house and you find it for pennies. Yeah, they need. They could say, well, we're making money this way. I'm like, yeah, but I do wonder if they might not be able more money if they had what might be termed more reasonable prices. Lots of small purchases versus a few giant purchases, and so make you genuinely enjoy spending money in the game rather than having be to avoid hassle and chore because it just becomes so miserable you're ready to drown yourself in the bank.
Well, and see, that's the whole thing. Like, okay, so right now I'm unemployed, right? Don't have a lot of money. I'm enjoying the game for free. I think it's fantastic that I get to play a game that has this much content for free. Okay, and I mean, there's just no two ways. That part of it is super awesome. And if I had a couple of spare bucks to, you know what I mean, like, when I'm working again, yeah, I'm gonna try some bag slots and bank slots and some things like that, some quality of life things that I don't mind, to support them and all the content. But yeah, lock boxes,
Yeah. It's a Skinner box. It's a Skinner box, plain and simple.
Yeah.
I can't verify this because I haven't been sitting next to the person who made this claim, but I remember back a few years back, 2018, it was on the officials. They were talking about lock boxes, and this one player saying, at least making the claim, they seem legitimate, but again, I can't verify it. I don't have the data for it. But he was saying that he had been opening out on average one lockbox per day due to VIP and sometimes buying key bundles and whatnot. But on average, about one lockbox per day, almost every day for the 3.5 to 4 years. And he had not yet gotten a legendary mount. That is not reasonable. That is not okay.
And that's exactly why I just pay the 5 million.
Yeah.
Okay. And I actually saw a Griffin up there today. A 5,000 power legendary Griffin was only 4.5 million.
Oh,
which was such a steal. But I was like, oh,
yeah,
I mean, I don't have anywhere near that much AD. So
exactly, it's like it's a good. If you don't have the money for it, it doesn't matter how good of a deal it is.
Right.
No, I mean, yeah, that's the thing. Like whoever makes these decisions, whether it's the Chinese company Perfect World Entertainment, they bought Cryptic, I think it was in 2012. Anyway, they're owned by them. Whoever it is that makes these decisions, I wish someone would sit down and say, okay, you know what? How about instead of making me combative and determined to spend as little money as possible on your game, how about you entice me and make me actually enjoy the process and make me want to be
Yeah.
on your side instead of wanting to see you burn down?
Listen, I'm going to give you an example. If you want to fix stuff like that, it's actually, if you ask me, it's a very simple thing to do, and that's that you stop with all the we have our own currency bullshit. You
Yeah.
put things up into real dollars.
Yes.
You want a legendary mount? It's $2.50. You know what? I'll pay that in a second.
Yeah. Well,
In
here's
a
the bad news. Because so in April, I've been even though I wasn't playing the game, I followed developments in it, and I don't know if I would have bought it because it's tempting, but I don't think it's actually good value. Say, in April or May or was it March? But they had a three legendary pack you could actually buy on auction house, and for years I've been saying, look, legendary mounts on the auction house. You can even give him a crap stat bonus, a crap combat power. You can even make it look ugly as sin as long as it had the mount movement speed, right? Because some
exactly.
people will still, like Enyo and Enyo more so than me, like to collect mounts, and I also collect companions. And so even if I already have one that's better, I might say, well, that one looks really cool. And because we can switch skins, I'm still willing to buy lockbox keys. That's the only way to get it. Or some people think that way anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they had this pack with 3 legendary mounts, and you could buy it. The price,
Wow.
$150.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, I can look. I've been unemployed too. I know what that feels like. You have my sympathies. I hope you find something, because that's the kind of situation sucks. I don't look down on you for it whatsoever. The world's in a tough spot right now. So I'm not bragging when I say I can afford it. The point, because even if I can afford something, I still like to get what I consider decent or good value for it. And $150 for 3 mounts. Initially, they were locked to character. Then there was a lot of complaining, and they changed it to account mount. That is nice of them to do, but for $150, I would say that's the least they could do, considering you could buy special collector's editions of AAA games that have way more market appeal than
Right.
Neverwinter for that kind of money.
Well, and okay, so I'm unemployed right now. I took a break from the industry. I've actually just been doing freelance IT for the last 7 years. Okay, so I live in a little square foot flat. I don't, you know what I mean? Like I have nothing, and I don't care, because I've really gotten over the world and its materialism and consumerism. So I don't, as long as I can sit here and watch the movies that I want to watch and watch some TV and play some video games, the world can burn. I don't care. All right. And the fact of the matter is, again, I've been a project manager. I've managed networks that, spanned the entire continental United States. I manage data centers with hundreds of servers. I've had money. I'll have money again. But because I'm going back into the field now and I'm recertifying, all my knowledge and skill. And I'm not going to be materialistic like that anymore. I don't need a rack with 8 servers in my house. I used to have it, I used to drive around $50,000 sports car. I don't want to do any of those things anymore. So because money has a much more powerful value to me now, after having gone through this kind of weird phase of life. And yeah, $150? What?
Yeah, that's.
I
mean,
mean,
that's
look,
like,
I mean, look,
you can, yeah.
whatever it was. What is it? What did WoW used to be? What was their subscription price? Was it $10 a month? $12 a month?
15.
15. That's what it was. Yeah, $15 a month. Okay, so and nobody pays that anymore, because everybody, got to the point where they're like, that's just too much.
Yeah.
So, I could play WoW, or I could have Netflix. I mean,
Yeah.
the value there is, proposition is insanely different.
Yeah.
So, I like I said, I don't mind spending a couple of bucks here and a couple of bucks there, but I want a sure thing, and I don't want to buy best in slot weapons. That's definitely not. I will buy quality of life things like bags and just easier stuff like that. I'm also not an alt guy. I know you have 13 characters. That's cool.
No, but I don't play them anymore. It's too much hassle. It's just
well, exactly, and I'll have one, and that one will be as maxed out as I can make it.
I will say
because
with
that's
all,
just how I like to play.
yeah.
So
and you probably know this, having played games like this before. I mean, there are some advantages, certainly in terms of logistics, like storage space, and also for certain events, like right now with Summer Fest, right? The daily mission where you just talk to the priestess of Sune, and you get some random form. Either you get the porridge or whatever the hell it is, so you can get the watermelon sorbet, and these are all unbound. So I could, it's something as simple as just talking to her, right, for a few seconds. So doing stuff like that, I don't mind. 'Cause that's not too time consuming. But Winterfest, oh my goodness, that's, I mean, I kind of get a little bit stressed out by it because you have 14 to 21 days, and going there and getting all the gifts and running back and forth, like, oh god.
yeah, no, see, and that's the kind of thing where I just refuse. I'm just
Yeah.
like, nah. You know,
Yeah.
like one of the only reasons I have the Drow fashion gear, okay, is because the game, through all of its legacies, is making me run so many demon quests that I just end up with all this extra ichor, and I really like the look of the drow gear, so I'm like, oh well, that worked out.
But
You know?
yeah, I mean, like going back to the more life-related stuff regarding money and career stuff. For me, yeah, I would. I mean, I'm not going to say no to. Well, I'm not going to win the lottery because I don't generally lottery because it's far more likely to investing money in certain stocks anyway, whatever. But for me, the idea would be I would love to have enough money, whatever sum that would be, that hey, I don't feel like working for the next 3 months. I'm going to take my own vacation. I'll see you. See you next, next.
Right,
next
that's
quarter,
what
next semester.
that's essentially what I did for 7 years.
Yeah, and that's what I want money for. I also be able to do nice stuff for friends and family and even strangers, but especially like if a family member is struggling with something, you can say, hey, I can help you out, and it's not a big deal. To have the independence to do as more or less as you want, obviously within law and certain other systems, but that you're not a slave to your job.
Right.
You actually have to work, but you work because you want to work.
Well, and that's the whole consumerism mentality that frankly, American kids especially are trained for from the word go. This is what they're trained to do. They're trained to overspend so that they have to work that way, and really, it's just bad. I don't know what else to say. It's just bad. When people ask me about like, well, what would you teach your kids? I'd say never have a credit card, pay for everything in cash. If you can't afford it in cash, don't buy it. Don't want it, and like I put a plan together basically where you could be independently wealthy, owning 4 properties, and just living in a like a 1,000 square foot condo, in the span of about 12 years. So, you have to have a skill set that allows you to make 50 grand a year. Okay.
What's it called?
And,
What's it? That plan, you retire early, but the sort of the dirty secret of it is that generally speaking, the only people who can realistically do that are high earners, because you do need to have significant disposable income you can set aside.
and that is the exact key. So the whole point is, what you need to do is make sure that you have a skill that is a life, paying skill, a profession. Not, I mean, even construction work and like electricians and whatnot, basic skilled labor. I don't consider that to be, a good life skill. I just don't.
Although plumbers can make, I'll tell you this, because when I moved, I'm in Norway right now. I'm not from Norway, but when I came here, it was for the oil and gas sector, not offshore, but when they came in maintenance and repairs. And some of those welding crews, not only is it dangerous and it's hard work, but some of them made a very good living.
Yeah,
a lot of people overlook the heavy industries because we think of our grandparents standing at the assembly lines, and that may not be a great paying job, but there are a lot of overlooked industry jobs in terms of heavy industry, where you start out, even in the States, you can start out making $45,000, $50,000 straight out of trade school. That's not
Right.
a bad salary for starting out.
It's not, but the reason I don't consider it to be a life skill is because it's very easy and very transient work. It's great when you can get it, but a lot of times it's not consistent. With a certification in cloud servers or in SQL databases, you will never not.
Okay, would that also include though? Because I read up on it. Obviously, for some of for higher positions, they would want someone who also has at least a bachelor's, if not a master's, in an IT. So is that included, or would it just be literally the certification?
No, it's literally just the certifications.
Okay.
There has been a very strong move in the technology sector away from formal higher education. And the reason for that is for years and years and years, people who came out of college with degrees, didn't matter if it was a bachelor's or, even a PhD, people who came out of college couldn't troubleshoot their way out of a paper bag. It was bad.
Because I remember when I was in California, I studied political science and theater because, bad acting and politics goes hand in hand. But I remember that there was that claim that basically people who were studying IT, that by the time they graduated, half of what they learned was already outdated.
Well, okay.
I don't know if that's true, but
so I can absolutely speak to that because I've been in the industry for 25 years. So, okay, in terms of software and software programming, it's absolutely true because the languages do change all the time. What's the flavor of the week today is not going to be the flavor of the week tomorrow. Like the flavor of the week right now is Ruby on Rails, and Ruby on Rails is great, but something else is going to be better that's going to supplant it in a year or two, and no one's going to use it anymore. So I do believe that is that can happen. However, when you specialize in hardware, and I don't care whether it's hardcore internet network switches, like because you're getting a CCNA or CCNP with Cisco, or you're talking about Microsoft or Linux servers. These technologies have incremental changes, not revolutionary changes. Now, the cloud has really kind of been I don't want to say a revolutionary change, but a very big change. And so I'm having to learn a whole bunch of new stuff.
Is there a lot of math involved in that? Because I've always wondered about that.
No, believe it or not, there's almost no math involved. Unless you're a network specialist and you're working with IP version 6, you're really not using any math of any significance.
It would be more for the ones who do like software programming.
Yes, absolutely. If you're doing software programming, there's a lot of formulas and this and that involved, and you're gonna have to understand math at a high level. If you're working with SQL databases, you're gonna have to understand math at a high level because you're programming in the Transact SQL language, and there are flavors of the SQL language. Microsoft has a flavor, Oracle has a flavor, General Linux, MySQL has a flavor, but as a whole, it's really very similar. The structures are very similar. So, okay, so I've been working on Windows at a professional level since Windows 3, which was the version they had before 95. Windows 95.
I remember going through the files to get games to play back in the day.
Right, exactly. So I've been in it.
My age.
Yeah, exactly. Believe me, I feel old every time I have a conversation like this. Summer.
And you heard nothing.
Right.
It's okay. I'm completely lost in this conversation, so.
So, the changes that have come to Windows and to operating systems and how hardware functions, in 25 years the core central pieces are all the same. you still have a central processing unit that is the brain of the system that, even though it has more cores and gigahertz doesn't, be the only, end all be all anymore of how fast a processor is, it's still a processor. You understand what I mean? And then, so the core tenets of how things function not changed in forever. So, okay, I've been just screwing around and keeping people's machines up. When I went to take the A+ certification, which is your basic hardware certification, how do basic networks go? How do you troubleshoot a basic problem? How do you put a computer together from parts? All of those things, literally not a single thing on that test was something I hadn't seen before in 7 years.
Nice. Yeah.
So that's kind of how that works, and it is very different in the enterprise, in big industry, big business, where you're handling 1,000 or 2,000 machines on a network, as opposed to your local small 5 machine mom and pop shop, right? Yeah. Those are very, very different. Holy shit!
What?
Did you get something good?
Hang on.
Did you get a mythical one?
Did you get a Cold War?
Hang on.
What?
Hang on.
Did you get a mythic ticket finally?
Did you get a mithril one, you little bastard?
He
oh
did.
my god!
He did. Got a mythic ticket. Congrats. That's it.
That's a chance. That's a chance at 5 million AD right there.
Woohoo.
Well, I hope you get a legendary mount, man.
That would be so awesome. Like, I don't care if it's like an intellect predator and it just looks like I'm around on a giant hairy butt. That's totally okay with me, right?
Well, exactly. I mean, but as you said, because speaking of lock boxes, I don't know exactly. I figure probably some people say, well, statistically you should get one within 1,000 lock boxes. No, because the system doesn't it resets every time you roll. So yeah, although you could say, well, statistically over a long enough period of time, it should even out and blah, blah, blah. But it's also entirely possible that you might be one of those unlucky SOBs like that dude who claimed he'd opened boxes for 4 years straight and still hadn't gotten one. That
Right.
can happen. Because there's no, unless they put it like they finally did with Press Forge, at 150. If you haven't succeeded before then you automatically succeed at that point. They don't lock boxes.
Well, and okay, so again,
and I've seen I don't know in the YouTube clip, but I think was it Rainer? I think it was Rainer who did it on I think it must have been preview server. But he got 10,000 lock boxes and then he opened them very quickly. Out of those 10,000 lock boxes, he got 13 legendary mounts. So that's a 0.13% chance. Others say 0.2. Still, it's
right.
Very, very small.
Well, okay, even if they had some kind of mechanic like they do with the refining the enchantments, right?
Yeah.
Where you have, you have a 1 in 15 chance, okay? And eventually you'll have 100% chance of getting what you want. Even that I could accept to some extent.
Yeah,
And
what I prefer. Oh, sorry, please go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, honestly, I kind of expect a change somewhere along those lines to happen eventually. Because if you look at the refining system with preservation wards, it used to be just totally random, but now they have it that there's only a max amount of preservation wards you can use until it's a guaranteed successful upgrade.
150.
Because sometimes on a 10% upgrade, you would spend 50 preservation wards. It's just ridiculous. So I imagine at some point down the line, they'll probably do something similar with lock boxes. It's not confirmed, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. Hey, you heard it right. You heard it here first, folks. And no, just confirmed it. Spread the news. Man, that there would be a riot. It turns out, wait, and you promised. Lynch mob on its way, man.
Oh boy.
It's all right. We'll hide you in the basement somewhere.
Kind of sounds like I'm being kidnapped when you put it like that.
No defense.
For
No
that,
defense.
you know,
Yeah.
if
Yeah,
you
where's
like
the
it,
defense?
and no, if you're not complaining, and if you like
Where's
it, then
the
it can't be
goaltender?
kidnapping, right? Then it's just exciting alternative travel arrangements.
Where's the goaltender?
Boy, and I tell you, I really think that you and I really almost got this down. You are right up there in the front. I'm like maybe 2 steps behind you, and between the two of us, we almost get it.
Yeah, we actually are doing pretty good with that. There we go. Another one. That guy totally missed the mark. And it's in.
I'm gonna tell you this right now. These about 4 of these guys that I played with were the guys who were sitting on the ground before.
Really?
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine. Yeah, they're not doing anything now. That's fine. And let's run the score up.
Let's do
just
it.
run it. We're gonna run it up. Yeah. If it's 12-0, it's 12-0.
Voting like a true champion.
I have
right
a
there.
I have a personal goal to get like a score of 10, like get to the double digits.
Oh,
Yeah.
we'll do that. We'll do that easy on this one.
Oh, when you just said double digits, okay, so back when I would, like, my parents are still living in Kenya,
Oh.
and I'll be
Oh,
back for
okay.
visits. But
What
one
the
of my
heck
best friends,
was that?
Mm-hmm.
so the next time Enyo or Seth or whomever, someone like gives flies you the bird, all you got to do is smile and be like, "Oh, is that the size of your IQ? Come on, I'm sure you can leave the double digits." And then you do the British "go fuck yourself," 2 fingers.
Oh
And they're
no.
like, huh? I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah,
no.
there you go.
Yeah, you see now. Okay, both my grandparents on my mother's side from Italy, one from the north and one from Rome. No one has anything on swearing compared to the Italians. The Italians are the ultimate. My grandmother taught me over 15 gestures that mean "fuck you," that are all, you know what I mean, like one, you take the thumbnail of your right thumb and you put it against the top of your top teeth, like where your buck teeth are, and then you just flip it out, right? That means "fuck you." There's like arm motions. There's twiddles of the ear. I mean, like it's stupid. There are so many different ways, and the number of swear words as well is insanity. Like you can't even imagine. We made a joke of it at one point in time. My mother owned a physical therapy office, and she liked to buy beta fish as a thing that her patients could deal with and whatnot. Blah blah blah. Well, we used to name all of her fish after Italian swear. Okay, so like one of her patients would go, "Oh, it's a really nice fish. What's his name?" And we'd be like, "Fangool." Okay, which was asshole. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
So, yeah, no one's
speaking
got
like-
anything on the Italians.
Well, I mean, like of like the cussing thing. Now, for a few years, I worked as a project manager in the Netherlands, and the reason I believe this to be true is because although I didn't learn, I did have some Scandinavian colleagues who'd been there much longer, and they did speak it fluently, and they even concurred that the Dutch apparently, when they really start cussing, it's particularly nasty. I mean, I can't give you any examples because I don't speak the language, but it'd be stuff like basically, wishing, like cheating, disease upon you, and like AIDS and stuff that makes you cringe when you say it in English. And apparently, that's their common way of like cursing people. I'm like, that sounds pleasant.
The Romanians are really good at parsing phraseology. Okay, like things like your mother was born from your father's asshole. Things like that. I mean, just
Oh man.
horrific, nasty, foul things.
I mean,
And I'm all for
Ah,
that.
so-
You know, I get a kick out of it. I think it's funny.
yeah, that's the kind of thing. Like there was a phrase. There's that movie. What's it? Colors. It's widely believed it was based on President Bill Clinton, but they never actually confirmed that it was. And at one point, one of the characters says, "You wet human turd." I'm just like, wow, that's that's pretty. I like that.
Yeah, that's like seriously. If somebody gave me an insult like that and said it in English, in a great accent, and it was an insult that I'd never heard before, I'd probably start cracking up and be like, "Yeah, you got me. That is awesome.
That's colorful. Yeah, you get
Yeah.
points.
You get points." Yeah.
Oh, complete different topic. And one of the other two former guild members I mentioned is online. It's okay if I invite him to the guild.
Yeah, for sure. I think
Cool.
it shows we have one space open.
All right.
Just FYI, that's kind of why Moonstars was created, was for all the overflow and whatnot. So if people need invites, into the dance at least, we can certainly, we got plenty of slots for this guild, and we're building it up as fast as we can build it up. So
Cool. Thank you. By the way, I was just because I already in total I'll be bringing 3 people with me. Helias, you saw her earlier. She's already in now. And here comes Alfana, and then there's a third one called Wu. She's not on right now. She's a grandmother, but Living. I think you'll like all of them. They're decent individuals.
Mhm.
But the hell was I even going to say here?
damn, I don't think
Oh,
we're
yeah.
gonna. I don't think
Yeah,
we're
so-
gonna break 10.
Yeah, no.
Maybe
So
not.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
So well, so anyway, so figured that it might be because having 7 or 6 guilds, 7 guilds is easier to keep the alliance culture than having 12 potentially very different guilds. I was just, why is there so many vacancies in the guilds? I don't mind personally. Like I don't
Mm-hmm.
even have a problem if it's one large guild that can do stuff on its own. I understand the advantages of logistics having more players from different groups,
Mhm.
but
Well,
if
we
you can
only
do it on your
formed like 2 weeks ago, so.
oh, really? Okay, because I always keep thinking of Chronic Legion, which has been around for, well, quite
7
a number of
years.
years. Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. So I'm like, so I just keep thinking that's the Alliance. That was all. That would explain why I also had trouble at times seeing the Alliance, because I used to think there's a different name for it, but that would make sense. Yes. All right. Well, that explains that. Thank you.
No problem.
I really see this alliance though as like it really is just one big giant guild. It's a guild with 2,000 characters in it and 600 people,
Yeah.
and it's fantastic for that.
I agree.
Absolutely
No,
fantastic.
I
I've
mean-
never been a part of a more friendlier, just people are just like, oh yeah, you need one of those? Here. Somebody
That's-
gave me a 300,000 AD cat for
Nice.
nothing because they just had it sitting around and it
Yeah,
wasn't
so did
selling.
I. Somebody just walked up and gave me a cat for no reason.
I mean, like that's insanity. The other day I needed some, like enchanting stones, and I was just like, hey, can I get a couple so I can, give it a shot? And the next thing I know, I've got, a stack and a half of them.
Yeah.
And it's just,
I mean, like, I'm not a. If you got, you may not be curious. If you want to know why some of us decided to leave the guild we were in, it's because it was very casual and tolerant and laid back, like you're describing now, and has been for years. And I don't know exactly. Well, over the past month and a half, 2 months, the decision was made to focus on training people so we could get as many in the guild as possible through Tom. And I like the idea, I like the vision, but along the way, a clique formed, and they're not bad people. I still like them. I'm still happy to help them out if they need assistance or need an extra set of boots in a run or whatever. But it just became a schism developed in the guild, and people just like the guild chat just went dead. It used to be busy, kind of similar to the way it is in Chronic Legion, and it's really nice to see how active the guild chat is here. But over the past 2 months, it's just basically become a ghost town. And it's because the inner circle, if you will, they went off into Discord. We're on Discord now. I'm not opposed to Discord, but I think it's a shame when it ends up basically killing whatever social interaction is going on in the chat zone, because not everyone uses it.
No, that's very true. I tried to last night. I tried to run a newbie explanation of Under Mountain B and Stardock, and all of the we fee me mechanics and how everything works. And like I broadcasted through the Alliance chat all day, and really Vic here was the only one who kind of showed up for it. Which was I felt like that was kind of a shame because I know people in the Alliance chat ask about it all the time.
Yeah.
And I was perfectly willing to type it all in the Alliance chat, and then I just went, let's try to do it in Discord and get everybody on Discord, and maybe be easier. It didn't work very well, and we like Gray wants to do one just like that for LOM, which I think is totally what we should. Really, I think what we ought to do is get like the trainers, the people who want to do the training and the explanations. We get them all in Discord, have someone record the stream of the experienced people doing the content, and then we can just post it, right? And so when somebody says, hey, how does this work? We can just go, hey, our Alliance has, a YouTube channel that, is fairly well known, and, here's the link to the video that explains all of these mechanics for you.
Yeah.
And I know that that there are like cutting edge guys who do all the leading edge content, and they're on the beta server and all that, like Northside, and they have all kinds of crazy stuff. But a lot of times those guys really aren't very friendly, and they don't explain things very well.
That's 100% true. I can agree to that.
And so
Mhm.
and so I just feel like if we're going to be the friendly, open, group, then let's try to make it as friendly and open as possible, and just.
I mean, I will fully acknowledge that we're all human beings and we can have bad days, and I mean, if I'm I have and probably still will at times, it could be a pug run of whatever, and I don't mind typing out the explanations, especially if someone says, hey, I'm new, I don't know what I'm doing. But I will also say that after a while, when you have the 1300 same question, especially when you have a bunch of new players coming in the game, it's great that there's new blood in the game, but at some point it's also like, please, you're on an online game. You're literally connected to the internet. Unless you're in China, you have access to Google. And it's okay to ask questions in the game, but maybe also try to do a little bit of individual research.
Right, and I agree with that wholeheartedly because I do it all the time. I call it asking Dr. Google, right?
Yeah.
But by the same token, Neverwinter is an excessively confusing game.
It is,
and this coming from an experienced player who,
Yeah.
I mean, I've played dozens of MMOs, and I still have to ask questions of you guys all the time.
Absolutely, and some of the tooltips are vague, and some of them are actually incorrectly typed out and whatnot. And please don't take it to mean that I don't think people should be allowed to ask questions, because they should. I think they should. I mean, how else are you going to learn stuff if you don't manage to figure it out on your own?
Right.
It's just that, and I get it. Sometimes I'll have a question too, because it's nice to have a human you're interacting with, and especially if it's someone that you know and trust. But other times it also, maybe you've seen it in Zone chat or in the past Alliance chat, or whatever. Sometimes it's also just a matter of sheer laziness. It's like, I couldn't be asked to tab out of the window and just open up another search engine. It's like, okay, so it's okay for someone else to spend their time making you wise, but you don't want to involve you. So I mean, there's a balance. Yeah, there's a balance there, I think.
See, I just think that, if we record a live stream of 5, even if we have 12 people in the chat and we're all just being goofballs and we're riffing off each other, but we're still doing the content, I think that you'll get more eyeballs, and it'll be a more entertaining thing for a new player to watch. Like, wow, these guys really have fun,
Yeah. And I mean, what I find useful when I look at various videos, and yes, Anyo, I've even watched one or two of yours, even though I don't play Rogue. It's been a while, but I have. And I like the ones that also, they will, if if the person's talking in the background, but then they also, for example, point out like if something is happening on the screen, they'll freeze the image, have an arrow point on it, and they'll do a very quick like short text on the screen. Because especially if you're a newer player or you haven't done that content yet, you'd be like, well, what the hell are they talking about? Let's say Tom, when Hallister raises his hand and goes purple, and you have to scatter. There's still the one phase that I tend to get tripped up on because sometimes, and it's not my computer and it's not my fiber connection, but I swear there are times like I'm pressing movement, I'm supposed to be moving, and it just keeps me locked in, or even worse, it sucks me back in like rubber banding, but it's not rubber banding. It's frustrating as hell. And have you guys ever played the GWF? Because I've noticed that with combat as well, in that it's been going on for years. A lot of the time when you're fighting, in the middle of fighting, you'll suddenly slow down, and it's not just, and even if you have stamina, it's not your stamina. It's like it slows it down. It's like you're walking in swamp water or molasses up to your knees, and you get sucked back into AOE's when you're running away. And that sounds like classic lag, but everything else is not lagging. That's the part that's weird.
That really is weird.
Yeah. And it's frustrating as hell. So, I mean, granted, I will not use it as some lame excuse. Sometimes, sometimes you get caught off guard or flat-footed, and you just don't clear the AOE, and you gotta do better. And that's fair enough. But other times, it's like I'm literally clear. I'm 3 feet away from it, and then suddenly I'm sucked back into it, but nobody else is, and everything else is going off just fine.
Yeah, see that sounds really strange to me. I mean, I don't have that problem. I mean, like, okay, so in MMOs I like playing glass cannons. I tend not to bother with defense of any kind. I just want to do max deeps and be done. Because of that, I'm kind of very proactive with my character about movement and getting them not to be in the wrong place. In most healers, until they changed MMOs to where you could click on their portrait thing on the left-hand side of the UI, most healers really hated playing with me because I move around so much. I mean, I don't think... Gray, are you still here?
No, I
No,
think
okay.
Gray went to bed. Like,
Okay.
someone else should be.
Oh yeah, like we all should be, really.
Yeah, I should be too. I gotta get up.
But
I gotta get up in like 6 hours. So
yeah, but yeah, because if you have to click on my character, good luck, because I'm everywhere. Especially with this weird teep mechanic that we have, in Neverwinter. Man, I am all over the place. I will jump in, throw down an AoE, jump out, move out of the way of something. I mean, I'm just constantly in motion. And the fact of the matter is that, like, it's really good when we have, mechanics and things in the game that allow guys like me to do what we like to do.
Yeah.
And I love this game. This game is flipping awesome.
Speaking of that, the console crowd, they're gonna hate the new heal. I mean, they're all the ones who've been reading up on it. They already dread the healing changes, and I don't blame them, because good luck hitting the right target with a controller in something like Tom.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. Like that just.
I don't see how that's gonna work. I could be wrong, but I suspect that they may have to do some tweaking on how that works for the console crowd.
Auto aim. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe something like that. Yeah, tab, lock.
It might. Well, you know what it might be is it might be that, okay, you have a reticle at the center of the screen, and the system might just go, okay, whichever character is closest to the reticle is the one that gets hit. I mean, it could be all the way on the left-hand side of the screen, right on the edge. You can only see his boot, and it's still going to hit that guy. I mean, whatever. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to make it work.
Yeah, exactly.
But
I mean, they'll have to do something. I mean, like unless there happen to be enough healers playing on the consoles who manage to pull it off. But I mean, I haven't played the new healing system, so I can't say for myself. But by all accounts, the targeting thing is an issue. It's not just not
Is it
just-
wrong of me, by the way, to be scared to turn this ticket in?
No, it's not. I mean, I hope you get the legendary mount. At the same time, disappointment is not unheard of.
Right. It's kind of what I mean. I you know.
Yes, go for it. Go for it. You'll never know until you do.
That's right. No, I'm gonna, you know, I'll probably probably be the last thing I do before I go to sleep. You know. Yeah, I still can't believe that popped up on my screen, especially when we know it's bugged and there's, you know, issues going on. And
Yeah.
by the way, I'm typically historically the most unlucky person you'll ever meet.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
So
I worked to them. They got Jeebas.
And out. Oh, they do have Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Oh, what? On the team? Or-
Yeah, one of the
On the-
characters named Jesus Christ.
Oh, okay. So maybe you guys sort of seen this. It was back in 2018. I haven't seen him recently, but it was an alliance I was in, and this one guy, he was a troll master. I mean, it was glorious. It really was. Now, love him or hate him, the humor can still be appreciated. At least I think so. So this one guy in the alliance, he managed to take a human male character model, and he literally made it look like President Donald Trump. He really did the whole hair thing, the nose, the tan, and then he would run around in Zone Chat, right? And you know how Zone Chat can be in PE at times. If not, you can learn very quickly. And he would be around like, I will fix PE's, I'll fix Neverwinter's economy with my +5 wand of economic wonder, and completely whip up the mass. People would go absolutely ape shit. They'll be frothing at their mouths to have a go at the Trump or one of the Donald. And even the thing that I thought was the pure brilliance was he had a lion, companion. I think it's the golden lion or whatever. And you know what he called it? Okay,
What?
so he took lion.
Aslan.
No, even better. He put lion, Lion, in big capital letters. Lion, Hillary. Shots fired.
Lion Hillary.
Yeah,
That's
lion,
beautiful.
Because that's what Trump called
Yeah,
Hillary.
yeah.
I don't want to
Yeah.
get too political. I read the rules for the alliance, but I thought, whether you like him or not, that's the guy who did that troll. That's fucking troll master over 9,000 level.
That is Trollmaster 9000. I'm gonna agree with you on that. And I'm not even gonna deny that I've done a little trolling in my time. I have no problem with really, riling somebody up if they're being an idiot.
Yeah. I mean, I try to. I mean, sometimes I will try to troll trollers, just because.
Some people kind of ask for it.
Yes, they do.
Enyo, I want you to remember this moment because I will.
Why?
Oh, Enyo, go Enyo!
And
Yay!
when the time comes to troll you back, you'll just
I
have
don't
to go.
think I've ever trolled someone in my entire life. Not even once.
There's a time for everything, my dear.
Really?
So,
But
really?
It's
Huh.
so
I'm
much
just-
fun. I mean,
Well, I mean, honestly, personally, I prefer to, get engaged in the conversation. And of course, if I think they're an idiot and they think I'm an idiot, and eventually sometimes it can get hostile. Other times you just, you let it peter out. Or sometimes you realize, hey, you have valid points. I disagree with them, but I see where you're coming from, and vice versa. And you can still have a cold beer or whatever, I guess, afterwards, or the equivalent of it online. But to deliberately, like, the people who go out to deliberately make other people's lives miserable by trolling them, I can see, like, someone who might think it's funny to pretend to be a flat earther supporter, like Nor in Zone Chat. That name is still infamous for doing the whole flat earther thing even years later. I don't know if they. I mean, they're not really hurting anyone unless they get some gullible person to believe that the Earth is in fact flat, and that NASA's main two missions are: one, to keep the fact that the Earth is flat a secret, and two, to patrol the borders so people don't fall off the edges.
I haven't heard that one yet.
Yeah, it's like, wow, man, just good grief.
Oh, that is fantastic.
And then sometimes I'll sit and think about, just trying to put myself in their flat earthers perspective. And I kind of feel like the madness, like the insanity starts to creep a little bit into my mind. I'm like, nope, got to push that right back out. You don't allow that to take root. That's not a good thing. But what if it actually turned out that they were right and we were all wrong?
Oh,
Wouldn't that be a hell of a thing?
What's scary about when you start thinking about things like that, what's scary about it is scientifically and historically just exactly how many times that's happened.
Yes.
People did believe that the sun revolved around the earth. People did believe that the world was flat. And it,
Yeah, although because that's what I
there
grew
was
up-
a sorry,
people-
there was
Yeah, sorry, go ahead. Sorry. Sorry.
I'm gonna go here. There was a guy I read about in the New York Times where he went to a COVID party, not as in, hey, let's go get sick, right?
Yeah.
But just a we don't believe that any of this is real party, right?
Yeah.
So he went to this party, he caught COVID. His last words were, "I thought it was a hoax."
Yeah.
It killed him.
I mean, and that's tragic in a sense. I don't like the people who deny it. I don't wish for them to die from it. I don't. And I can also, I agree with the view that if the cure ends up being worse, however you want to just measure that, but if it ends up being worse or more damaging than the actual illness, then yes, maybe you just get to a point where you have to say, it sucks, this is not how we want to do it, but we're basically just going to have to take our chances and hope for the best, and some people are not going to make it. That's what we want to avoid, and that's why we do try to limit the strain on the public health services and also spreading it to others. But unfortunately, it's looking increasingly like, from some preliminary testing in various places, that herd immunity might not be happening.
Yeah, it's kind of I'm not sure who said it first, but the
Two defense guys, you can't keep it on the net.
I have no idea. Look, I kicked it. I don't know. Whatever.
I kicked it, and the rest is up to you. Do your job.
The rest is up to this retarded, stupid physics engine that they've got running. It's so dumb.
Maybe kick it backwards, see if that helps. It's like,
Right? Because what I always try to do is I try to kick it, to the right so that it doesn't, you know what I mean? Like, they don't get the bounce back effect of the stupid physics. I don't know. So they were talking about vaccines, and somebody was talking about the fact that really what they want to do is they want to have not one vaccine, but you might be taking 2 or 3 different vaccines separately, a couple months apart each. Yeah. To try to build the herd immunity. Like, it may not be this really easy thing that everybody thinks it's going to be.
Yeah. Because it looks like right now it seems that the hope was herd immunity would happen on its own, but granted, it's a very, very small sample size, and the information comes out of China, so take it with a grain of salt. But even a broken clock can tell the time correctly twice in the 24-hour period. And they had taken 32 people who had recovered from COVID-19, and the distressing part was that after just 3 months, their antibodies had decreased by 85%. Now, they don't know what that actually translates into in practice. Maybe 15% is enough to still give your immune system enough of a boost to resist being reinfected. They hadn't tested that at that point. But by the sounds of it, if your your antibodies are already decreased by 85% in 2.5, 3 months, that's drastic.
Right.
And this thing is mutating too. I mean, it's suspected.
Yes, that's the other thing that's scary about it, is that it's constantly mutating. We just got our asses kicked. I mean, We lost.
You know why? It's because you're in
5-1.
defense. You're in the defense mode.
5-1. You're slacking. I thought it was going to be 10-0.
It's because we kept not winning the vault. Like Enyo and I just couldn't get the vault, so I was like, all right, well maybe I should just go play defense. After they were up like 3-1. And just nothing is working this game. I blame COVID.
No, they got Jeebus, so they had Jeebus.
They did. Praise Jeebus.
Well, guys, I keep telling you, there's only one.
Oh my God. Okay, so we just got our asses handed to us, and I just got a silver ticket out of that.
Oh, what?
Oh,
Nice.
Asshole.
I'm not not joking.
I'll keep saying it. There's only one logical conclusion in this game, in Sahha Ball, in life. If you lose, clearly, the other side's cheating. There's no other rational explanation. So.
Yeah. See, normally I would way have gone to bed by now.
Yeah,
but the problem is that again, Nevada desert, right? So it's still 85 degrees outside right now. And it's so hot that there's no chance of me being able to sleep in my 600 square foot flat that has no air conditioning.
Yeah, what is it? The time there for you is what? 1:07 a.m.?
No, it's just after midnight.
Just after midnight. Okay.
Mm-hmm. It's actually past 3 in the morning for me, and normally I'm in bed by midnight.
Okay, so you're in like central Canada?
A little bit, yeah, Ontario.
Ontario, okay. Yeah, no, it's gotten so late that it's already well into the morning here. But I've got my weekend started yesterday.
I should technically be
that's
asleep.
good. That's good.
I should be technically in bed because I got to be up in 6 hours.
6 hours is plenty of sleep. Actually, I mean, it's not plenty. It's okay. It's doable. And
Well, that's
I'm used to go. I mean, I can. It's nothing to brag about, but I mean, hell, the worst one I've ever had was some years back, same workplace. I got 18 minutes of rest. Then because I stayed up too late. Then I got up and I went to work. And then another time I was awake for 24 hours. That sucked.
well, it's one of the advantages of being unemployed.
Yeah.
If I need to have a nap tomorrow at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, that can happen.
Yeah. I will say though, I think the longest I've ever been awake was in the military doing a field exercise. It was like 72 hours in the field, and we got 3 hours of quote unquote sleep, but it was more like rest.
Yeah, that's
The stress test.
Yeah, the stress test, and it gets worse in special forces training. I think they do it for 5.
Yeah.
They do a 5-day binge.
Man, I remember it's off. It's hard, man. Like the last day of the final morning, it was.
It looks like we got that group of standing.
Great, awesome.
Let's go for that 10.
We want 10 goals, and not only do we want 10 goals, but there had better be a screenshot of it.
Look, they're not even moving. Oh, they started moving.
Man. But I remember like that third morning you get up and you've been told to march out and we're in the woods, and we actually got that year's first snowfall just as we're about to do the water passage crossing, which is great. That's awesome. You're wearing sweaty, stinky clothes you've had on for 3 days. You've had one day's worth of rations. You get all the water you want because they're not actually trying to kill you, but they are trying to push your buttons and see how you react. And just we're marching there with backpacks. I mean, if it wasn't, I'm glad we're marching, and I'm glad I was walking behind someone else because I could sort of just zone out and almost fall asleep while walking behind the soldier in front of me. Jesus Christ. I'm glad I had the experience. I'm in no rush to replicate it though. Oh man.
They aren't even trying.
Good. Good.
Oh, I swear, if that went over, that would have been like a real
That
law.
was like the weirdest physics bounce I've ever seen.
But you know what? I like how it's random. Even when you think it's gonna go in, there's just a random
That's it.
chance it's not gonna go in. It adds character to the game.
You just nailed it. That's the whole thing. All this, everything
Inflate-
in this game is built
Inflate
around.
gate.
Yeah, everything in this game, almost everything in this game is built around RNG, and that's what they did with the game, Sahha Ball too. They just never bothered
Well,
telling anyone.
You know, someone was talking about that the other day about how broke the RNG was in this game, and I'm like, listen, I can program a true RNG in about 5 seconds flat, okay? Because we have, clocks that measure things on the quantum level, and it just
Over.
like that. Where did that come from? We were 2 inches in front of the net, and it went over. What? I mean, like,
Amazing. Amazing.
it made no sense at all. But my point is that if you add a random number factor, right, based on 2 different clocks that are not synchronized, such as the computer clock, or the server clock and a quantum clock,
Yeah,
it's true RNG. You can't screw it up, and it's really easy to do.
well, there's a running sort of conspiracy theory in Neverwinter, and I mean, I don't see how anyone can actually really prove it without having access to Cryptic's internal.
I mean, weekly.
Yeah, source code.
Yeah, source. But it seems that the RNG in this game is what you would call streaky. So, in the big picture, it's random, but there are periods where if you get a success, in terms of refining or opening a lockbox, that area sort of seems it's going to hit a number of successful numbers in a streak, and then it'll start having a lot of non-successful hits, and that over time becomes more or less random in that sense.
Right,
But
right.
That's why you'll see like when no mods drop, a bunch of people will be opening lockboxes, and usually you'll see a lot of this person got a epic or legendary mount. By the way, mod 19, maybe I was just on at the wrong times, but surprisingly few of those messages, which indicates that less people are opening lockboxes.
Yeah, I have that in all my chat windows. I always have that particular window open, that particular notification open, so that I can see what's going on in the world. And you're right. That being said, there are the cheapest mounts on the AH right now that are 4.5 million AD are the infernal engines. The infernal war boxes, whatever they're called.
Because when I checked earlier, it was that the frog or whatever from previous mod. But either way, it's a legendary mount. Yeah.
Right, but the thing about it is, like, because people ask me all the time, why the hell do you ride around in that really ugly spider? And I'm like, because of how the hitboxes of the spider work, it gets caught on the fewest pieces of terrain.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have the big armored spider from the the Pack of the North or whatever.
Yo, that's the one I want too.
Yeah, because I was an arachnophobia growing up. I'm still not thrilled with spiders. I mean, the thing is also how spiders, like let's say in the temperate climes of the Western Hemisphere, if you go down to like Africa, they'll be 2 or 3 times as big.
Oh yeah.
So it's not really fantastic in that sense. But yeah, the spiders they handle really well. Like different mounts. I remember when I first tried the Griffin, and I really liked the look of some of the Griffins. But when you have a legendary speed movement and you also have the 30% movement boon from the guild, then it's tolerable. But other than that, it was sluggish. Just like I have the the Lord's armored polar bear, and that looks pretty sweet.
Yeah, we had to give him one.
But that bear shuffle,
Where are
and
we?
it's very
Germany
realistic
versus,
compared to how they move in
Brazil?
real life. But it's not smooth, and it doesn't do the best reactions in jumping either. And it should all be the same, but the animation of various mounts make them feel smoother and handles better. And the spider is one of the best ones. I have the sword took, one of the painted spiders.
Mm-hmm.
That thing is, oh man,
well, and that's
like silk.
Yeah, it cost me what was it to get the epic one, the epic spider that I have? I want to say 400,000 or 500,000. Or no, it was 220. That's what it was. And it was, it was. I think the cheapest one was maybe 150. It's worth every penny to not get caught on the terrain, and just be able to move properly.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So Braum was actually originally a dwarf, and it did break my heart a little bit to turn him into a dragonborn, even though it's a metallic one. But I gained like 10,500 HP on my DPS loadout just in switching, and I get 3% more crits severity. It is, in terms of combat, there's an advantage there. There is, clearly.
Yeah, of course.
But there are no mighty beards, and Braum looked Cute but fierce is what some people say. He's so cute. I'm like, but he's fierce, and he's got a mighty beard. And and I miss that. I do. I might change him back one day. I took screenshots of all the sliders so I can recreate it.
Is he beating you every friggin' time?
How the hell should I know? It's RNG
Oh.
They're
crap.
cheating again. Only logical
Every
answer.
time
They're
you do
cheating.
your thing, he blocks you and ends up putting it in.
What is
Like,
going
how
on?
is he doing that?
They can't possibly be better players, so there's only one answer.
Cheating.
Yes, cheating. Correct. Fact. True story.
Why are they like deciding to play now? Did they not want?
I think there's a lot.
I think they realized that we were trying to get to 10, and they were just like, no, we're not. No, 10? No.
It's they're playing for pride, possibly.
Who knows?
You know what it is, Enyo? You know what it is? I was running up too far forward, and I wasn't using my, delay that I had been using,
Mm-hmm.
and so we weren't getting the same kind of bounces that we normally would get. That's I blame me.
I do
And
too.
all of a sudden, now they're all playing
Whatever
except for
wrong,
one.
I'll blame you first.
I'll take the blame.
There you go.
Historically in my life, I get blamed for everything, so I just own it now.
Well, that's
It's
just
whatever
fair.
you want. You want to blame me for it? It's cool. It's my fault.
Excellent.
I don't even care anymore.
I detect the beginnings of auspicious beginnings of a fine friendship. It's your fault. Yes, it is. Good. Glad we're in agreement.
8.
Ooh, 57 seconds to score twice more.
Come on, guys. Sorry, guys and gal, lady.
Where did the ball go? Oh, it went forward.
Come on, you
I
can
got
do it. Do it
I
now.
got it. I got it. I got it.
Oh!
Do it. On it.
Don't
We
be a
are
girly man.
so
Pump
close.
it up. Do it now.
Do it. Oh,
Do it now. Listen
Do
to
it
me now.
now.
Know me later. Get to the chopper.
Get to
You
the
idiot.
chopper.
Girl. Who is your daddy and what does he do?
All right,
Ah,
everyone, just
ah.
push it forward. No.
It's like,
Where
Oh,
the
no.
fuck did that ball go?
what's the matter, Dylan? Have you pushing too many pencils at the CIA?
That was it. The orbit.
eyes to see you.
Eyes to see you. Yeah.
McBain. Ah!
Did you do it? Come on, score.
No,
Too
we're not
late.
gonna do it. We got 9.
Yeah.
Oh, that one's
Oh,
going
no,
right
I
there
know.
too.
Ah, man. But you know what? 9's still a good
Oh.
number. But we're not getting
9's a
those
great-
double digits.
9.
3
9's a
silver
great number.
tickets. That's not
Wow,
bad.
3 silver tickets. Yeah,
Really?
that's what I got
fucking
too.
small party
Nice.
poppers. Like, seriously?
Wait a minute. Do you guys think that maybe the rewards improve based on how many matches you play and win? It shouldn't, but
I don't
I
think
think
so.
that there's a chance right now that it's just how screwy the RNG is. You talking about the streak thing?
Yeah.
That's entirely what it could be. I mean, when we played 35 or 40 games before anybody pulled anything, and then all of a sudden I get all this stuff.
man, I want to give you guys a medal just for playing that many matches uninterrupted.
Yeah, we've been playing this for what, a good 3 hours now, haven't we?
Oh, at least, at least.
That qualifies for cruel and unusual punishments. All right?
Well, at least we did it to ourselves. I mean, you can't blame it. I take that back. Everybody blames Sith. That's
Yes, there you go.
That's-
It's your fault.
my fault. Oh, yeah, I
Actually-
missed this because
Actually,
you know-
I think it was Enyo that said, "Oh, we should all queue up."
it was.
Great
Actually, I
idea,
think-
Enyo.
But I had played earlier when Hyan put the group together. So I've been playing. I think I literally have been playing the stupid soccer shit for 6 hours now.
Oh, wow.
And it's listen, I can't explain it, because during the 7-year period when I took it off from the IT industry, I was focused on writing novels, none of which got published. And I wrote 4 novels in 7 years. But I also took a break from gaming, from video games and all of it.
It's a massive distraction. It really is.
It is.
If you're trying to do other stuff.
It is.
tell me about it.
I
I'm
mean-
a graphics artist, and I've been because of this COVID crap. I started playing video games, and I haven't done jack shit in a month.
Mhm. Yeah, that's, I mean,
I mean,
I
can
really
come-
feel like if I could have pushed myself and not played so many video games, I probably could have finished the A+ in 3 weeks, and instead it took me 2 months. But right now, I just don't care. You know, if it takes me another 2 months to get my Microsoft certifications, great, whatever.
well, see,
If
like,
nobody wants to hire me, great, whatever.
I mean, like for
It's
example,
like-
I have a novel as well as just as a hobby project, right? And I don't know if it'll ever be published. I don't know if I could make money off it, that'd be great. But I don't know because it's a tough industry to break into. And it
Super
might be-
tough.
Yeah, it might be easier than some others, but it's still not easy by any stretch of the imagination.
He's
And
got to stay in the defense. Everybody can't just run up because if he gets that bad bounce, we're like running back. So he's got to stay back.
Remember, I got a silver ticket when we lost horribly.
yeah.
Yeah,
know,
so you've also got a mithril ticket when we lost horribly too.
Yeah, so there's literally no, no reason or rhyme to anything. Just run around the field, do whatever. I frequently,
Run around the field,
in
kick
fact,
the ball.
I'm gonna do it right now.
I will if you guys.
There we
play
go.
More, if you guys
Boom,
play
there's-
more,
There's some bro down right there.
if you guys play more tomorrow, or technically for me later on today, I'll join next time.
Well,
if there's room on the team.
if we're gonna have this, like, this is why I do this stuff. If we're gonna have some fun, I don't win or lose. Who cares? Like, look at that crap. The ball just curved around the thing. It was going right in the net, and it curved around the post.
I remember, like I'm having flashbacks from the last time I did that event. It's like it's surreal. It's surreal how that thing does. Physics clearly do not apply on that
No,
pitch.
they don't. It's just the stupidest thing ever.
Oh man. No, but yeah, speaking of, I call it Wuhan virus because just like you have Lyme disease. Well, that's named
Well-
because they discovered it in a town called Lyme in Connecticut. You have the East Nile virus, stuff like that. We name a lot of viruses based on where they were first, officially registered. And
Are
this
you
one's
talking about COVID?
Yeah, COVID, and COVID is.
You know what I call COVID? The Kung Flu.
Oh,
The
Oh,
Kung
boy.
Flu. That is fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm stealing it. Just
You know
so
what?
where
You know what?
I said it first.
You know what?
Screw you. I take the
No,
blame
here-
for
here's the
everything
thing, here's
else.
the thing.
I
Here's
own
the-
that joke now.
Here's the
That's
here's the thing.
fine.
President Trump actually called it that too, and he was
Did he
called
really?
racist.
Mhm.
He was called racist for it.
Wow. That's retarded.
It is. I'm like, I love. Okay, so here's the thing. There's a lot of stuff. I mean, I agree. He's loudmouthed, and he's not what I would call.
Oh,
A statesman.
Vic.
No.
But there's. But I mean, like I said,
Bounced off.
there's stuff you can agree and disagree with all kinds of people on. And there's something I thought was actually kind of brilliant. This is when he had called it the Chinese virus, right? And the media was all over it, calling it that's racist. And so the supporter sitting there in the White House press conference room saying, "Don't you think that's racist?" And he's just standing there completely calm, looking at his note cards. He's like, "No, it's not racist. It's not racist because it's from China. China." I'm just like, for fuck's sake, man. Troll.
That is, by the way, why I said another reason why I decided to separate myself from society, because I couldn't handle all this politically correct bullshit.
I agree.
I refuse to use the term "xi" or "here" or
Oh,
any
God,
of
yeah.
that crap.
Look, it's not. Here's the thing. Like, it's not about if and Enyo and anyone else. If you have different views, that's fine. That's the point of liberty. That's the point of free democratic societies, of freedom of speech. That I can say something and you can say, "Well, I think that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard," and I disagree with you. And you can do that, and I can say it back as well. And we both get to walk away alive and not be persecuted for it. And that is
Exactly.
a beautiful. And that's a beautiful thing. And it's a
It
precious
is.
thing because historically it has not existed in a whole lot of places.
Right, and what is going on right now is everything is being labeled as racist or hate speech, and everybody wants to outlaw it with legislation and actual law, and
Yeah.
that is batshit insanity.
I mean, I will use, and this is, I mean, if someone feels uncomfortable by this, please let me know. I wouldn't do this in the Alliance chat because it's against the rules, but we're just having a Discord conversation there between the four of us. And like I said, if it bothers someone, let me know and we can discuss something else. But I like to think most people in the world would agree that slavery in any form is a despicable, abhorrent practice that has no place in the civilized human world, right? More or less.
Right.
Right. So my issue is this. This is not about whitewashing.
Except on my plantation. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh man!
That's remember what I said about trolling. I said I do it once in a while. That's what I do right there.
Well, it makes me laugh because one of my higher ups at the place I work. This is a couple of years back, but I came with a suggestion about something, and I made a comment, and then he was just like, and he's openly gay, flamboyantly gay. It's not a judgment. It's just that's part of his character, and so his scathing wit just makes it even more fun in a number of ways. And he just looks at me, and he just makes this like whipping motion, feminine whipping motion with his hand, and he goes, "Not on my plantation." It's like, well, shit. It's like, well, I guess I know my place in the hierarchy. But anyway, so to go back, so we agree slavery is a terrible thing. I agree with that. This is the part I take issue with. Look, I am not trying to say that horrible things were not done by European colonial powers, because they were. We know this. This is not open for debate. We know terrible things were done. However, my issue is those people, the individuals and groups who are so keen on saying everything's bad about the Western world, everything sucks, you're the root of everything bad, white man bad, yada yada. I would say, okay, so bad things were done, but I haven't owned slaves. I haven't treated people poorly because of their skin color. Why should I be judged for the actions of someone 150 or 400 years ago? And furthermore, if you're going to judge slavery as bad, which we agree it's a terrible thing, but what about the Middle Eastern and Arabian societies that took African slaves before the Europeans did? What about the African tribes who enslaved each other and sold them to Middle Easterners and Europeans for centuries? What about the Latin American cultures, the Inca Empire and Mayans that had human sacrifices and slaves? What about Asia? Slavery has been in almost every part of the world where humans have been, and it's equally despicable in every case. So if you're going to go after one group, whether it's Europeans and Western culture in this case, or it had been someone else, why aren't you pointing that same finger and using that same standard on everyone who did this?
Well,
that's my beef. That's my issue with it.
It's a very simple explanation, and that is that minorities use issues that are hot button political issues in order to gain influence and power over the majority. And no minority wants equal rights. Minorities always want extra rights. It's the way it's always been. It's the way it'll always be. That's my issue, because I look at it this way. Look, I don't care if you're male or female. I don't care if you're white, black, brown, green, rainbow colored, polka dotted, whether you're worship the flying spaghetti monster or whatever. But the golden rule of the road: if you want to be treated a certain way, you gotta treat others the same way. And you don't get special privileged treatment. That's another thing. I'll admit it, I'm not particularly religious. It doesn't mean I don't have some spiritual views, but
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah.